Good day guys, and welcome back to your English Aussie. Today we are live with Gameweek 21 deadline stream. If any of you are crazy enough to be watching me at this time from Australia, I appreciate you. For any of you guys watching from the UK, thank you very much for watching. And today we're going to run through transfers for Game Week 21. We'll run through plans going forwards, chip usage, captaincy plans, and all of that good stuff. If you are joining for the first time, I do have an FPL league code that you can follow. Please subscribe to the channel to stay up to date for videos, and you will hopefully be seeing on the screen all the team news flashing up. We'll run through all of those press conference updates, all of the key news for today, and you can also see my socials to follow me on Instagram, TikTok and Twitter. I have spent this week for you guys essentially setting up a new format for this stream. So hopefully you guys like it. It's probably why there's been a few less videos this week. I've been working on setting up this stream. I've also been getting some new lighting, which you can hopefully tell the difference to the sort of shadows and stuff. Hey ISAK, how are ya? Raul or Eze, I think interesting. It depends on the rest of your team, mate. What do you have? Who else do you have in your team? Do you have a team ID that you can post in the chat, and we can pull your team up live, perhaps, and talk through it? I think it's a little bit easier to make that call if I understand the rest of your team as well. I think from this perspective of just for this week, probably pick Eze, Mbumo, ISAK, Mateta, Gordon. Mbumo, ISAK, Mateta, Gordon. What are you looking for there, mate? Just Mbumo, ISAK, Mateta is nice. Gordon also like. No issues with any of them. I definitely, to be honest, I'm having a consideration about whether we should be captaining Mbumo this week. So definitely someone that I am thinking about for this week. Can I make a wildcard draft? Yeah, we can definitely do a wildcard draft on this stream. I think just need to make sure it's set up nicely for people at the moment. I'm not seeing all the chats pull through at the moment onto screen. It's a bit annoying. I'm just trying to sort of set that up to make sure that it's working. Let's just put this in the let's try this. Hopefully hopefully that comes up on screen. Can I make a wildcard draft? Yeah, I can make a wildcard draft. I don't think that should be too difficult to push through. I've been considering sort of plans for 2021 through to even really to 29. I think chip usage, now that the 24 double game week's out, now that we have a little bit more idea of who's going to make that EFL Cup final, has become a little bit more clear, shall we say, as to who we want to... Have I got this on subscribers only for the stream? Yeah, I do. Let me allow you to post if you aren't just a subscriber, if it's not a subscriber, which should mean everybody can post now. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think it's actually really important. The more I've thought about it, the more I think that it's important to make sure you're saving your transfers at the moment, because once you get through to sort of game week 29, you've got to decide ultimately whether you want to play your free hit, or you want to play your free hit in game week 34. Tiger and Gunnar, hey bro, bought in Murphy and Shalabar. Is ISAK still a good pick for captain? Good question. I think that ISAK's probably not a great pick for captain. Having the news come out lately, and if we do flick over to sort of press conference updates before we get onto that wildcard draft that you're after, ISAK. Yeah, if we just flick over here, we look at Newcastle news. They have had a few sort of issues this week. So ISAK and Murphy actually are both hopefully okay. They had some niggles in the middle of the week. They didn't play in the FA Cup for Newcastle, and Eddie Howe is hoping that they will be fit. He does say that he thinks that it's likely that they will be fit for this game, but it's more like, he's hoping they will be fit for this game. So for me, you don't really want to captain ISAK, given that you're not 100% sure that A, he's going to be starting, and B, if he does start, he's going to get the full 90 minutes, given that he might not be 100% fit. I also think Wolves under Vitor Pereira in this sort of like 3-5-2, 3 at the back, 3-4-2-1 formation have been a little bit more compact. Matt Doherty playing in that sort of central back 3 role has been really nice and composed for Wolves. I think they are starting to find a little bit more defensively under Vitor, and I don't think that it's as easy to play against them as it has been. Yeah, so I think ISAK for me is probably not who I'd be looking for captain based off those reasons. Yeah, that's sort of my thoughts, Tiger. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm not sure who your other guys are for captaincy. Maybe if you stick your team ID in the chat or something, we can have a look and talk through who thinks the sort of best player. In the meantime, I might just run through the press conference updates first. Probably key updates, maybe I'll go through, and then at least we have them up on the screen. Fulkrug out for quite a few weeks. Somerville's unlikely to play. Tadibo out. Bowen obviously still out. Graham Potter finally in for West Ham. It's so nice to have Graham Potter in for West Ham. He actually will give you proper team news updates, unlike Lopetegui, who just is not somebody who likes to do something like that. Guys, maybe Salah, Palmer, captain, but yeah, I would go Salah, and that's probably where I'll get to on this stream later. My thoughts were between Salah and Mbeumo, with probably Bruno as the third choice. I don't think Palmer's a very good captain this week. Bournemouth have actually conceded the 5th least goals out of any team in the Premier League so far. If you're looking at the league, they are 5th least for conceding. They also play a 4-2-3-1 style, similar to Chelsea, sort of matches off against them. I expect that sort of game to be almost to nullify each other, and it to be quite a low-scoring game. I think the reverse fixture, correct me if I'm wrong, was a 1-0, but I'll just check what that reverse fixture. Yeah, 1-0 to Chelsea in the reverse fixture. So yeah, I don't think that's a great game for Cole Palmer. I think Bournemouth also playing sort of same sort of formation also doesn't allow him those sort of gaps and spaces in between the line. Yeah, also think they're good defensively, good from set pieces as well, very good from set pieces so far this year. So I definitely think Enzo is probably a weaker option as well this week for me. So yeah, I'd probably go Salah. But yeah, Mbeumo, ISAK, also an interesting thought. Ultimately, I thought this one was really difficult. I think that Mbeumo against City is a really amazing game. I think City obviously struggle in transition, don't have those legs in midfield, are really susceptible through that sort of swift counter-attack transition, which are what Brentford are all about. They're all about that sort of transition offence. And I think like they're just like a really nice team from that offensive standpoint. Especially Gvardiol on that sort of left back side, and with the news we've heard of like Kyle Walker wanting to be transferred, what we can see is that really we're sort of expecting Lewis to start right back, Gvardiol to start left back again, which means that again Lewis probably inverting into that defensive midfield role for Man City, and that Gvardiol is going to be playing sort of more defensive left back role than he has done in the past. And that sort of leaves me with Mbeumo attacking at Gvardiol. Gvardiol is someone in the last couple of games for City, even when you had sort of Kudus for West Ham, and even Leicester down that right wing, when they were one-on-one with Gvardiol, he was just backing off the whole time, and sort of really struggling to deal with the right wingers. So I would say Mbeumo's it's very close for me between Salah and Mbeumo. Differential midfield for Wildcard. Look, to be honest, my midfield on a Wildcard would be Mbeumo, Gordon, probably Bruno Fernandes, and then Salah and Palmer. My wildcard team is not that far away from what my actual team is, which is kind of quite nice to think. I think you've obviously got to think about what you're going to do game week 29, and I actually think that makes a really big difference now, because if you're going to free hit in game week 29, then you don't need to worry about what your team's going to be. But in my personal opinion, I actually think it's best to try and play through game week 29, given that you know what the picks are going to be. Sorry, Tiger as well. Should you still play ISAK or take him out? I think I would still play him. I think it's likely that he probably starts, but gets reduced minutes if he is sort of available to start for Newcastle. I think maybe they'll bring him off a little bit early. So I'd still play him in your team, because if he does start, he's obviously been in fantastic form in a great Newcastle side. How many minutes do you think ISAK gets? I think he's the best captaincy option. Bournemouth and Forest defence is not to be slept on. Yeah, I completely agree with Bournemouth and Forest defence. Good. I actually think Wolves, as I was saying a little bit earlier, a little bit more compact under Vitor Pereira with this like 3 at the back system. Doherty in that sort of centre back, in that back 3 role. I think they are starting to to be a little bit more defensively compact. I think the problem is going to be his minutes. And for me, like, if you want to have somebody as captain, I think you want that more certainty over the minutes. If you do want to go a little bit even more differential, you could easily captain Anthony Gordon if you've got him. Because if ISAK does go off, there's no Callum Wilson on the bench for Newcastle. So it's actually quite likely that maybe Anthony Gordon moves into the central striker role, as he has done when ISAK's been out and Wilson's not been around. So he might get the 90 minutes and also play maybe 30 minutes in a central striker role. So yeah, I think Anthony Gordon could be a really interesting differential captaincy decision. Yeah, as I said, I just don't think he's actually the captain to go for this week. With the minutes risk, with my sort of belief about that more compact Wolves defence, I just don't think he's the guy to go for. Any Forest midfielders good to pick? Forest barely scored goals. I put 3 past Wolves last game week. Yeah, but it's sort of how you set up against different teams. Like, how you're going to set up against Forest is going to be very different to how you set up against a Newcastle team that have obviously been super aggressive in their press. Whereas Forest are a team that's set up in like that deep low block, and they're going to come at you on the counter attack. It was almost perfect for Forest for the way that Wolves wanted to play. Forest just got at them at the counter, whereas Wolves against a Newcastle team are probably going to be playing more of the role that Forest are trying to play, and they're going to try and attack down those sort of wide areas for Newcastle in that sort of 3-4-2-1 setup. Forest midfielders, ISAK. I'd say Morgan Gibbs-White or Elanga. I think the best pick for me is Elanga. He's in really nice form at the moment. He's obviously playing in that sort of 2 in the like 4-2-3-1 almost that Forest can play sometimes, or when they do play the 3 at the back with the wing backs in the 3-4-2-1, and that sort of goes on to like possibly the tactical observations that we're talking about, and like what sort of formations that Forest might play this season. And maybe if I put it on the screen, like Forest have obviously got 2 formations that they have mostly been playing this year. They've obviously played like roughly 4-5-1, 4-2-3-1, however you want to put it, with the high wingers, or they've also played a couple of times this year the sort of 3-4-2-1. And I don't know if I've put it on here. Yeah, I didn't, because it was a little bit later that game, but I think I talked about it on maybe my reaction stream. Is that I felt they've really got 2 options to play against Liverpool. They could play that 4-2-3-1, and then with Hudson-Odoi and Elanga on the 2 wings, leave them super high, similar to what Man United did against Liverpool. Like Bruno Fernandes played like very high and pinned back the Liverpool fullbacks, like Trent on the right, and then on the other side you can have like so that side would be like Hudson-Odoi down the left pinning Trent back. The other side you'd have like Elanga pinning back Robertson. That ultimately means that they don't have as many forwards to come and sort of put the pressure on Forest when they're defending deep. I think that's beneficial for Forest. Otherwise, they can again play the sort of 3-4-2-1 that United played against Liverpool, and then like the 2 almost number 10s that sit behind the striker drift a little bit wider, and they could ultimately end up again like pushing back those Liverpool fullbacks. And the goal there really is to mean that it is so that Liverpool defensively, you know, you can try to isolate Trent in that 3-4-2-1. You can try to isolate Robinson in that 3-4-2-1. And the main Liverpool defensive weaknesses that you've seen this year have been Robertson one-on-one down the left and Trent one-on-one down the right. I think we know like Trent's not a great one-on-one defender. That's nothing new that we've seen. We have seen like Robertson struggle a little bit sometimes this year. I think Slot sort of put it down to his like pre-season that he had, but I think more recently he's obviously had more time to be involved in that game. So yeah, it would sort of that's sort of what they're looking to do. And then their wing backs, ultimately the wing backs that are playing, are then going to sort of double up with the 2 10s that are pushed out wide, and then they can almost try and get that sort of 2-on-1 or 2-on-2 when you get Gravenberch or McAllister or a Canate coming over to cover or Van Dijk on either of those fullback sides, and that's what's caused Liverpool the problem, because they ultimately ended up 1-on-1 with the fullbacks, and our fullbacks are not fullbacks that like to be defending in 1-on-1 positions. So I think Forest have two opportunities of defensive structures. They could either play that sort of 4-2-3-1, or they could play the 3-4-2-1, which we haven't seen as often from them. I think it would be something that Nuno, I can see him doing, switching things up a little bit and going 3-4-2-1. But I do think if he does that, that's also going to mean that Salah might get occasionally left 1-on-1 on that down that right wing. And I think that could be really dangerous and make him actually quite a nice option in FPL for this week, and he could also be like quite a nice captaincy option. So again, I think it sort of depends on which formation Forest play. I sort of expect them to play the 4-2-3-1. I think they're more defensively compact, with Mario Milenkovic at the centre-back role, not playing a back three, and then having Aina and either Nico Williams or Alex Moreno on the full-back roles. I think if they do that, they've got a sort of a much better chance of keeping Liverpool to ultimately like a lower score. I think if they go 3-4-2-1, try and pin back the fullbacks, I could see that Liverpool Forest game being like 2-2, and then being a lot more goals in it than people say. So I think it really does depend on the tactical setup that Nuno goes with as to what the result of this game is going to be. So yeah, I think all of the people that are talking about that Nottingham Forest really good defence, I do agree they have been good defensively this year, but it does depend on the setup that they use against Liverpool and whether they want to play in a manner where they maybe expose themselves a little bit more to Liverpool in 1-on-1 situations defensively, but also cause them more trouble offensively, or whether they want to go with the same tactics that worked earlier in the season and play that sort of 4-2-3-1, allow Liverpool to have like 60, 65, 70% possession and back themselves to get them on the counter, which I think is quite dangerous. I don't think you're going to see Liverpool play as poorly as they did first half of the season against Forest. I think they will do a much better job of breaking down that sort of low block, and I think they'll cause them a lot more problems. So I actually think that Salah could be a nice captaincy pick again this week. I think from a tactical perspective, there could also be quite a few goals in that Forest-Liverpool game, both sides. So I actually think people that are a bit dismissive based off record haven't had a deeper look into sort of the tactical setups of both of the teams and what could happen for this game week. So I think the best captaincy options this week are Salah against Forest and Mbeumo against Man City, and probably Bruno Fernandes against Southampton. ISAK again, I think it's just not the option because of minutes. And Palmer, I think, is a bad matchup against Bournemouth. They're actually again play that 4-2-3-1. Are going to match up nicely against the Chelsea system. Won't allow Palmer to get in between the lines. Also have a great defensive record, like 5th for goals conceded so far this season, and are missing their main strikers, so they are going to be playing a more defensive style because they know that they don't have that sort of goal scoring threat that they've had like in previous game weeks. And I think what you have seen from Bournemouth this season is they've been really good from set pieces. They've obviously got their own sort of specialised set piece coach, and I think that's where they're going to look to hurt Chelsea. Off to bed, Tiger. Thanks, mate. Appreciate you joining. Good luck this week. Hope everything goes well for you. Appreciate anybody from Oz joining today. If you are in here, please try to subscribe to the channel, give a like to the video. I really appreciate you guys that are in here. If you're here from the UK, of course, a little bit easier for you guys to be joining this week. But of course, appreciate all the viewers that are tuned in. If anybody's interested in team reviews, wants their team to be put up on the screen, cheers Tiger, appreciate you mate. Chuck it in the chat now. I will be doing team reviews for anybody that wants them done, and I'll put your team up on the screen with all the players from Gameweek and talk through transfer plans and what I think coming up. I think ISAK asked for a sort of wildcard team. We can probably run through something like that for you guys. Maybe I'll try and chuck something. Let's try and chuck something on the screen. You are crazy. 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 Ultimately nice Obviously in Gameweek 29, Liverpool comes Spurs are going to be blanking. In that Gameweek 29, and I think this is something to consider. So from my perspective, I'm probably going to pick this wildcard team. And I think thinking that, I'm not going to free hit 29 or free hit 34, which I think is the better option. And therefore, you're going to pick a team that in 29 is still going to have a game a lot. You're going to still be able to have 11 players playing. And like what I'm making quite a lot of assumptions in this wildcard team. My assumption is would be it's Newcastle that get through, and it's Liverpool that somehow overcome Spurs, which would mean Newcastle, Villa, Liverpool, and Palace blank in 29. If all of those teams blank in 29, then as you'll see as we go through this wildcard team, we have to think about obviously we have options like Munoz, Teta, Sarr. I don't think any Palace players are therefore fantastic picks unless you're planning to get them out of your team in 29, which means you're going to have to save up quite a lot of transfers, and I think that's super important. Which means you're going to have to save up quite a lot of transfers. So I think as you get weeks leading up to 29, if you can roll your transfers. Weeks leading up to roll your transfers over the next 8-9 weeks. I think the optimal chip strategy, as I've discussed, and I've got that chip strategy video on my channel, so if you haven't seen it, make sure you check it out. I can actually show you guys. Maybe let's do the wildcard team and then we'll talk about it. But yeah, I mean, roughly 3 and 34. Assistant manager 36 to 38. Wildcard 32. Bench boost 33. Double 38. Try and get as close to 15 players as possible in that bench boost. Just try and manage getting to 29. Because ultimately a lot of the players from 29 are players that you're going to want in 30. For example, if you look at the Newcastle fixture runs over that period of time, they're really nice over 29 to 30 over a period of time. Show on the screen there. My FDR that I've put together, the actual FDR. You can see here sort of Liverpool from the actual FDR 28, 29 all the way to 34 have some nice attacking fixtures. Newcastle from 28 all the way to 35 have some really nice attacking fixtures. And obviously, like if you manage 29 and you're going to wildcard 32, you can probably wildcard into teams that are doubling 33, which is going to be what we're assuming to be a Newcastle, a Liverpool, a Palace, and a Aston Villa. After that, I would say like Villa, reasonably nice attacking fixtures. Going forwards after that, reasonably nice. Palace, maybe a few. Going forwards after that, very loud buzz. Palace, maybe a few. Very loud buzz. Palace, maybe a few. You can actually see the desktop audio. Try and disable the speakers and work through just a cam. Hopefully that should have fixed it. Let me know. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I think it was just something to do with the laptop speakers, probably just a little bit of overheating of this laptop sometimes. I leave it on for too long when I'm doing stuff, probably. Cool. Also, hey Heath, hey Bryce, good to see you guys. Greetings from Africa. Always good to see you guys on. I mean, we're like 2:45 AM in the morning in Oz now, so honestly, like anybody streaming now that's not like a psychopath like me in Australia, like doesn't have a full-time job. Like if you're in England and you're streaming, it's like 3:45 like on a work day. Like they're definitely not working. Or you're like an absolute psycho like me, and you're streaming at 2:45 a.m. 6 p.m. Central African time. That is the time you want to be watching an FPL English Aussie stream, mate. Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Captain Bruno Fernandes, Bryce, yeah, mate. I think he's up there in the top 3 best options at the moment. Ethan, team check, yes, mate. We'll pop that up on screen for you. And Bryce, then we'll do you straight after that. Let's just whip them on the screen. 3:42 for me, UK. Heath, mate, that's all right. 3:42 in the afternoon. You could maybe you're chilling, just having a good time watching FPL English Aussie. Big fan of that. But if you were streaming, I would be like, actually interesting what you guys do for work. Be interesting to see, to know. Your brother, you said Saul score last week. Yeah, banned him from the stream. He's been absolutely banned. It was funny though, we were watching that and I was chatting to him. We were obviously supporting. He said Munoz would be the best pick for Palace, and I think he ended up on that stream starting Munoz over, I think it was Mateta, maybe it was Sarr. And Munoz had that almost assist where he cut it back and Eze put it wide. And my brother was like, it's Eze's fault, blame Eze. I was right, Munoz put it on a plate for him. So that was pretty funny actually. I did have a good chuckle around that. Ethan, sorry mate, let me pull your team ID up. 120. I almost should know this off by heart. Your one's like quite nice numbers. Chill stream after double history today. Oh mate, that is great. Double history. That is a tough day. Man, I used to hate double history. That was always like a lot of information in one lesson. Like, just why do you need a double? I think double history and double English for me were the ones that I really struggled to get through. Just needed double PE. That was the dream. Which the double free period. Those were the days. Oh my god, I'd be in the computer room just like playing games. All right, let's have a look at this team. Yeah, so a few things, I guess, Eth, for this game week and going forward. I know we've spoken about this probably every week on the stream, is the triple up of Chelsea. And I think this week in particular, I don't love Enzo as a pick, just because I think Bournemouth are really good off set pieces. They're coached really well, and I think Enzo, like a lot of his appeal comes from the fact that he's also on set pieces, as well as that sort of inverted role that he plays into midfield, into attacking midfield. But I think like with the formation that Bournemouth play in the 4-2-3-1, and the Chelsea also being in that 4-2-3-1, probably likely to play that with Lavia, maybe Caicedo at right back, inverting into DM. Now that Lavia's back this week. Yeah, I'd say I don't like that Enzo. Like this week, I'd look to probably bench Enzo if I were you. Next week, planning to do Jackson to Wood and Enzo to Gordon. Or should I do it for -4? No, I wouldn't do it for -4. I'd just bench Enzo this week. You can play Munoz against Leicester. I would play Rodgers as well. I think Rodgers playing against Everton, nice fixture for him. So, like for you this week, yeah, I think the defence is a bit tough. Munoz for sure. Robinson against West Ham I'd play. And then Kirkes v Chelsea, Greaves v Brian, and Trent v Forest. I mean, I'd go Trent just for the attacking returns, but I do think Forest are likely to score in that. So I'd probably go Raya, Trent, Robbo, Munoz. And then in the midfield, I play Jackson, João Pedro and ISAK up front, even though I think João Pedro's probably unlikely to start. I think ISAK probably restricted minutes, but I'd start him. And then midfield, Bruno, Salah, Palmer, Rodgers. I'd play all four of them. That's probably why I'd go with you, 3-4-3. And then, yeah, I really like your transfer set plans next week. Jackson to Wood and Enzo to Gordon. And I think your Gordon could also be an Mbumo. I know Brentford next week have Liverpool, but after that their fixtures are quite nice. But then Newcastle fixtures, I guess, are nice as well. They got Southampton, Fulham, Forest, Liverpool, 26-27. I think you got a choice to make between Mbumo and Gordon next week. Who you want to go for? I think you could go either way. You could either go to Gordon or Mbumo. I know it's difficult to go to Mbumo with them playing Liverpool that game week, but if you look at the fixtures post that, if you look at these fixtures, for example, look at these nice fixtures for Brentford after that: Palace, Tottenham, West Ham, Leicester, Everton, Aston Villa, Bournemouth. They're all really nice fixtures. And then if you look down at Newcastle, yeah, you got Southampton, Fulham, Man City, which are all nice, but a couple of tricky ones. But then you obviously have the really nice fixture on 34. So our rival friend has Mbumo. Yeah, sure. Then I think go Gordon. I think both equally good picks. Yeah, and I think you got a nice sort of coverage in team going through to game week 29. And sort of as I was saying around chip strategies, I think for me, the sort of ultimate trip strategy is to roll through that 29 blank, and I think your team is quite nice to get through that. You don't have to worry too much. I'd then obviously look wildcard 35 or 32 and then bench boost the week after. Free hit for me is 34 is the best week, and assistant manager for me, I think I've come to the conclusion now 36 to 38 is probably the best. That's sort of where I'd be thinking. But yeah, I think for you, Heath, nice. I think I like those thoughts for next week. Jackson to Wood, and yeah, Enzo out for a Gordon. All right, Bryce, let's get you up, mate. 1265996. 1265996. Guys, if you are watching and enjoying this stream, please give a subscribe, like the video. If you do want your teams reviewed or to chat through transfer plans, post your team ID down below in the chat. I will be replying to all questions on the stream. I will do team reviews for everyone that posts their team ID in the chat as well. Bryce, let's have a look, mate. We've got Sanchez in goal, Chelsea. Yeah, I actually that's quite nice this week because obviously Bournemouth are missing Evan Nilsson and Anal, so they don't really have a front line. So actually Sanchez is a really nice goalie pick to have this week. At the back, you've obviously got Kanate, Robinson, Gabriel, Hall. Hall for me, definite pick. Robinson, I'd say, pick against West Ham. I know we've got Potter now, but still, they're not amazing going forwards. They're also missing Bowen and Fulkrug and Antonio. They don't have a central striker. It'll probably be Kudus playing in the centre forward role for West Ham. So I'd go Robinson, and then it's between Gabriel and Kanate, and I'd probably... I think that's a bit of a toss-up. Playing Kanate over Robinson. I know Fulham have not had the best defensive record lately, but I'd probably play one of Gabriel and Kanate, and I personally would recommend playing Robinson. I think he does play super high in that Fulham team down that left hand side. Does have potential for assist returns. I mean, outside the last couple of weeks, they've been a good defensive team. But yeah, I mean, I can see Liverpool. I don't know. I'm not sure I can see Liverpool keeping a clean sheet against Forest, to be honest. I'm not sure I can. Midfield: Palmer, Salah, Gordon, Sarr, Fernandez. Lovely. I think you probably play all 5 of them. And then Cunha, ISAK, João Pedro. Probably bench João Pedro, just because of the risk of not playing or coming off the bench for a small amount of minutes. Frederick, hoping to roll your transfer if all looks good. Frederick, who should I bench? Wood, Rogers, Semenyo. Semenyo, I would definitely start Rogers. Probably bench Semenyo. Bruno, my captain. Yeah, I like Bruno as captain. Like I said, I think Salah and Bumo and Bruno for me, top 3. I think any of them are good picks. Yeah, I think if you can roll your transfer, Bryce, I think that's ideal. Like where you are right now, like if you can save up transfers, you've obviously only used Wildcard 1. Yeah, I think that would be like absolutely ideal if you could roll. Yeah, and like obviously going forwards for your team, what would I look at? I mean, I'd look at probably the João Pedro Cunha area and just decide whether they're guys that you want to stick with long term or whether you want to move from. But like I don't think it's like immediate action that needs to take place. You can maybe look at it over the next couple of game weeks. You can see how they're going and then look whether you want to move off them. But for the meanwhile, I think keep rolling and transfer. Give them 2 weeks. Yeah, I agree. Do you think ISAK and Pedro will play Frederick? Yeah, look, I think I was talking a little bit about it earlier. Basically, Eddie Howe was hopeful that ISAK would be available. He said obviously they had like legitimate knocks that they picked up. They were left out with genuine reasons, all different things, but nothing major, we hope. So minor problems that we needed to settle down. Fingers crossed they'll be there or thereabouts. So I think he'll play. I just think he'll be managed with minutes. And I don't think that he will play like the full 90. Perhaps they shift Gordon to the central striker role. Captain Salah against Nottingham Lewis. I was speaking about it earlier. I'll come to it again. Let me just finish this for Frederick. And then I think JP. I don't think JP will start. I think he'll maybe come off the bench for Brighton. I think he'll probably be there or thereabouts with the team. I just have a feeling that they won't want to risk him against Ipswich. I have a feeling that Hurtsler probably reckons he can get the dub in that game. But yeah, I don't know if I have the quote from Hurtsler on what he said specifically. I'll try and find it for JP. I did have the full quote somewhere. Yeah, I don't have it up. Sorry. But yeah, ultimately it was like we need to not take any risks with him at the moment. Yeah, he's training with the team, and then we can decide if we'll take the risk to play him. What's most important is how the player feels. We won't do anything stupid. We have to wait until after the training session. We can't forget that he's still a very young player. So I think like it's really 50-50 for him. He obviously had to have a scan as well. I just think it's a big risk. I think it's a big risk for such a key player for them to put him out there. I think maybe just you've got Wednesday and Saturday games. Like maybe he just plays on the Saturday, and they're not going to play him within those 3 games. I think it's quite a risky decision for them to go and do that. Salah captain, is it okay? Subramaniam and Lewis. Yeah, look guys, and then ISAK, I'll get to you and Bryce's questions after. Sorry, so yeah, I think it's totally fine in my opinion. What I was saying is Forest kind of have 2 options as their tactical setup to go against Liverpool. I think they can ultimately play like the 4-2-3-1, which is what the formation that we've seen them play frequently. with sort of Hudson-Odoi and Elanga on the two wings, and they'll try and push back Trent and Robertson, and sort of pin back those Liverpool fullbacks, and then potentially you'll get either Aina and Nico Williams like doubling, so that you have to get Gravenberch or Konate or Van Dijk or McAllister to cover. And then that allows those Forest guys to be 2-on-2 with the Liverpool defenders. And that's basically what Man United did against Liverpool. But Man United did it from like a 3-4-2-1 formation, which we have seen Forest play this season, but only a couple of times. And the fact that they have like their centre-backs fit at the moment means that they do have a possibility to play that 3-4-2-1 formation, which basically means that you'll probably have Hudson-Odoi and Elanga in behind Wood. They'll ultimately sort of play a little bit higher and wider and pin back Trent and Robertson, and then that will allow also that they'll, because they're playing 3-4-2-1, they'll be playing the wing backs in Aina and Nico Williams or Moreno, and they'll again be able to double up on that while still allowing the three at the back to deal with the Liverpool runners. And I can honestly see Nuno playing that formation. And trying to sort of counter the midfield runners from Liverpool in behind by having three at the back that can move with those runners. The only downside of that is that does allow occasionally Salah to be left one-on-one, which is obviously where he's been so good this season. So I actually think if Forest go for that sort of 3-4-2-1, I think the game could actually be like a 2-2. I think there could be goals in that Liverpool Forest game. I think if Forest go for that 4-2-3-1 low block, I think Liverpool are obviously going to have like 65% possession in that game, and they're definitely not going to be as poor as they were the first sort of rotation round against Forest in terms of breaking down that low block that Forest put in the 4-2-3-1. So I actually do expect Liverpool to have a better performance and get some goals in that game. So for me, like, I have my captaincy on Salah this week. I think Mbeumo is a really close second, and I'm still a little bit in my head about whether I want to captain Mbeumo. But I think Salah's a nice captain this week. I think definitely better than... I don't think Palmer's a great shout this week, and ISAK, just the minutes is an issue. I think Gordon's an interesting differential captain, considering he might move centrally for ISAK when ISAK comes off, or if he doesn't start. And then obviously Bruno Fernandes against Southampton is also a nice captain. So yeah, Lewis, I think you can captain him. Subramaniam, GB, I think he's fine captain. ISAK, Enzo and Jackson out for Bruno and João Pedro. Probably not João Pedro for me, just for the obviously potential that he might not start this game week. I think Bruno really nice to get in for this game week. I think if I was to move for a striker, it would be either like around that price point. It would be a Wissa or a Raul Jimenez. And I think if you don't have Mbeumo, Wissa's the one you should go for. If you do have Mbeumo, like I've got highlighted on my screen here, Jesus. My transfer this week is probably going to be Jesus to Wissa. I do feel a bit nervous about being tripled on Newcastle, like double Newcastle attack and double Brentford attack. Doesn't really spread my risk very nicely. But I think I'm probably going to be rotating Wissa quite often. Like he'll obviously play this week against City. I think that's an amazing game for Brentford. I think they could win like 4-0 or 4-2. I think there'll be goals. Yeah, mate. GV. I also hope Salah gets a return and 8-9 points. I mean, the guy's only not returned in 2 games this season. Let's not forget that. I know one of them was the Nottingham Forest game from earlier in the season, but he has returned in 18 out of 20 games so far this season. So don't write off Mo at your peril. Bryce ISAK will not play full 90. Yeah, I don't think he'll play full 90, mate. That's why I don't think he's a good captaincy option. My guess is he'll start. But yeah, I don't think he'll play a full 90. Guys, if you are watching, you're enjoying this content from me, please remember to subscribe to the channel. Really help like this small channel grow. give the video a like. It also helps it push it out to more people. I am streaming at 3 AM, so I appreciate all the love and all the people joining in and giving comments at the moment. It is very helpful keeping myself awake for one. I brought myself a box of strawberries just to get myself through the stream with some food, because it's crazy that I'm eating at this time of the morning. Trick my body into being awake. Yeah, so I think some of the key news maybe we can run through. The key news is probably, obviously, ISAK with the minor issue, hopefully available. I would say likely to start, not likely to play 90. Gabby Jesus, injured. Lewis, I'll pop you up on the screen right now, mate. Sorry for those of you to watch me eat on stream, but I'm trying to keep my energy levels up at 3 AM in the morning. Like and subscribe. Thanks, GV. Appreciate you, mate. Catch you in the week for some good content as well. I'm actually in Melbourne this week. I'm watching the Australian Open. I'll probably still get maybe one video in between Wednesday and Saturday out for you guys. And then I'll do like a bit of an early stream on Saturday, not at deadline, probably a bit before, just to give you the latest team news and thoughts, and we can obviously do Q&A and team reviews. Alright, Lewis, bench boost wildcard and triple captain already played. 148k in the world though, very nice rank. 81 points last week, also very nice, and Boomer in there. What were your transfers last week? Robinson and Cooley in, Madison and Burgess. Alright, so Sanchez in goal, really nice. Mikolenko I'd probably look to keep towards that double game week now. Aina, obviously Forest going well. Robinson, nice. Timber does have the slight hamstring worry this week. And Greaves. So I think at the back, you're probably going to go with Aina, Robinson. Ooh, Miko v Timber. Probably Timber. Probably Aina, Robinson, Timber. Just got to back the better defences, I think, is the way to go this week for you, Lewis. Midfield and Bumo, Palmer, Salah, Cooley, Ahmad, and ISAK Wood, Cunha. Ooh. I think you maybe like have to think of these two things. Like you've obviously got Kulusevski and you've got Timber. So if you're playing Kulusevski, you're probably not playing Timber. If you're playing Timber, you're probably benching Kulusevski and you play 3-4-3 with ISAK Wood and Cunha. So I think your question is, who do you like best out of that? Out of Kulusevski, Wood, Cunha to play? Because I think if you like Wood, Cunha and ISAK better, then you probably then you probably bench Cooley and then you play Timber. Or if you prefer Kulusevski, then you bench one of Wood and Cunha, and then you probably bench Timber and you play Mikolenko against Villa. I think if it was me personally, I would bench Kulusevski, Greaves and Mikolenko, I think is what I'd do, Lewis. And then going forwards, like sort of transfer plans coming up for your team. I don't know if you made any transfers this week so far, but I mean I think you should roll this week. I think your team's in perfect place to roll. And as I was saying, I think rolling transfers is important at the moment, up towards game week 29, and trying to sort of manage that blank game week. I think free hit is going to be more valuable in 34 with more blanks, Can Arsenal keep a clean sheet? Low probability. I feel it can happen. Look, one thing that I should note on this channel, and I'm very, very big on this, is the clean sheet probabilities are the stupidest thing I've ever seen on any YouTube channel ever. Don't pay any attention to the clean sheet probabilities. 2 reasons. One, nobody is thinking from a tactical lens on how the teams are going to set up, like what the matchups are, how they're going to set up defensively, how the other teams are going to set up. At this moment in the season, there's been a lot of sort of tactical tweaks between different teams, different formations, different ways of playing, and I think that's probably the most important thing to consider. And it's very easy for like 1 or 2 team selection picks to completely swing how the team plays. 2, the clean sheet odds and that sort of stuff is just absolute crap because it's based off data that goes back for way too long. So for example, like every week you'll see Man City with like 36-40% clean sheet there. Literally, I would bet my house on Brentford scoring against Man City this week. And that will be a really funny clip if Man City go and win 3-0 this week. But there is no chance in high hell that Man City keep a clean sheet against. Just keeping more clips. But yeah, I think those clean sheet probabilities are just stupid. Like all the content creators that put them up, just like pay zero attention to them. Like come and watch my channel and come and watch like the tactical observations that I do each week, and we'll talk through sort of like each of the teams, how they set up, how they're going to set up next week, and who I think can keep clean sheets. For Arsenal this week, look, I think it's going to be tricky for them. But again, like I said, it sort of depends how Spurs set up and who's available for them. I personally think that if they set up with Kulusevski maybe on the right wing, Son on the left, Maddison in the centre, they've got a little bit more chance of creating something against Arsenal. If they set up with Brennan Johnson down that right, and maybe Kulusevski in the centre, Sonny on the left, I think they've got a little bit less chance of breaking Arsenal down. I think Kulusevski on the wing gives them more with Maddison in the centre. But yeah, look, ultimately, I think Arsenal have a chance. I think they do have a chance of keeping a clean sheet. Like the way that they're playing at the moment, especially without Saka, is all about having possession of the ball, trying to reduce the opposition possession, and therefore being less susceptible. I feel like this year, Arsenal, the goals that they've conceded, I would say they've been really unlucky to not get as many clean sheets, to not get that many clean sheets this season. They've conceded maybe like 1 goal a game or something in quite a few games that have been like very either unfortunate, but also there's been like I would say against Brighton was probably their worst defensive performance. Like there was a little bit of panic at the back there between Gabriel and Saliba, who are normally so assured. But I expect them to be a lot more solid against Spurs. A local derby, yeah, I think from my perspective, there's definitely a chance of a clean sheet there. But look, Spurs are can be a very good attacking team when they set up in the right formation. So yeah, again, like I don't think I'd hang my hat on that being a clean sheet. I'm thinking crazy, great name by the way. I'm thinking Milenkovic to Hull, but he wouldn't start unless I bench VVD. Worth it should I roll for a third free transfer? Roll, in my opinion. Next week, Nottingham Forest have Southampton. You want Milenkovic in for that week. Like if you think of it, even just over a 2-week period, Milenkovic and Hull. Like yeah, you get Milenkovic. You get Hull versus Wolves this week, but Wolves have been decent going forwards, and then you have Hull v Bournemouth. If you're going to go Milenkovic to Hull, I'd probably almost say you wait till 23 when Newcastle have Southampton. That's probably a better game week for it. I'd keep him for now, but he wouldn't start unless I bench VVD, and I'd probably just play VVD. I've got to say, I think that Forest Liverpool game could be more goals than people think. It really does depend on what setup Nuno plays. I just have a sneaky suspicion that he ends up playing that 3-4-2-1, and the game ends up at 2-2 or something crazy like that. It could be, it really could be, and everyone's going to be, I think different things if that happens. But yeah, I think obviously if he sets up in that 4-2-3-1, it's just going to be a game of Liverpool trying to break down that low block, and then Forest trying to pick Liverpool off on the counter, trying to get Trent into those 2-on-2 situations with him and Konate or him and Gravenberch, trying to get Robertson into the same situations. That's going to be Forest's game plan if they go 4-2-3-1. Very fast progressive carries up the field with Gibbs White, Hudson-Odoi, Langers, and Liverpool are going to try and counter them the same way. So yeah, I'd roll crazy. Ultimately, I think that's my answer. I'd roll the transfer this week if I were you. Just worth having those transfers. It's not a big move to make. I don't know if I went through these tactical observations with you guys on the reaction stream last week, so probably won't go through them again for you. What I haven't done, we'll go through Game Week 21 predictions. Also, Game Week 20 predictions. My Game Week 20 predictions last week. We were 8 out of 10 for predictions last week. It was only in the last day of games, Fulham Ipswich and Wolves v Forest. And I've got to be honest, the Wolves v Forest game, Sells just made some insane saves. How Wolves didn't score in that game against Forest, I will never know. I will never, and I was to be honest, I was wanting them to score as well because I don't have any Forest defenders either. So I was watching that game, being like, "Come on, give me my prediction," but also clear out that Forest clean sheet. So yeah, really good prediction game week for us last week. Spurs, Newcastle. I think we saw as well with that Spurs lineup that it was likely that obviously Newcastle were gonna get the upper hand, but I thought really as we spoke about, a game of two halves. That Newcastle high press dropped off a little bit in the second half, and Spurs really sort of pushed on and got into them. It was really a game of two halves in my opinion. Villa Leicester, I think an easy one to predict. Leicester obviously conceding a lot of goals this year, but also not a terrible attacking team. Bournemouth clean sheet by Everton was obviously still when Sean Dyche was still in charge. So clean sheet against Everton is basically the easiest pick ever at that stage. They've got zero attacking threat, especially with McNeil out at the moment. Dye's looking nice, but the Broja injury for them as well was a bit tough because he's sort of someone who gave them the way Everton plays, quite a direct style of football. They play those sort of long cross-field balls to their strikers. And I think Broja would have been really nicely suited to that game style, more so than Calvert-Lewin, because Calvert-Lewin's not someone who sort of you see as a big target man hold up the ball, whereas Broja I think can do that. He also has the sort of running power where he can sort of run, hold off defenders and sort of help get Everton up the field. That's sort of what they needed up front with the direct style they play with Sean Dyche. Let's see how they go under David Moyes. Might be a little bit different. I might have to take a rethink of these Game Week 21 predictions as well that I'm going to show you in a minute, because I probably did them earlier this week before we had a bunch of news. Palace-Chelsea had both teams to score. I think the Chelsea defence has not been super solid as Palace defence is. Again, one of the reasons I'm not super big on Palace players at the moment, they've really showed us no reason to believe that they can keep clean sheets despite their good fixture run. They also don't score a large amount of goals. Look, I think in their attack, Sarr, Eze and Mateta, all very nice players, but you also have to remember that they are playing for Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace are not a team that score a lot of goals. So I would definitely recommend not doubling up on Palace players despite their good fixture run. I think that despite what my brother may come on this stream and say, and he probably did last week as a Palace fan and a season ticket holder, I think one Palace attacker is definitely enough. Damn bro, 8 out of 10 for predictions. I'm going to put money on your predictions for this game week. Yeah, I might tweak a couple of them actually in Game Week 21 when we get onto them. But I will say that I think this is my best. I think I've roughly got about 6 out of 10 most weeks. Sometimes 7s. I think once 5. 8 was being my best one. Yeah, I'll give you the predictions. I've got it on the next page. Just talk through these. Man City to win against West Ham. I think again City that was like before they obviously got out of their rut, so that prediction probably didn't seem as clear cut back then. Brentford Southampton 2+ goals scored. Obviously we saw Brentford totally annihilate Southampton in transition in that second half. What you see with Southampton now under Juric is they're counter pressing far more aggressively and higher up the field. This leads to two things, and this is what Brentford exposed last week. One, when you counter press really hard up the field, you obviously win the ball back in those higher areas, and then give you a little bit more threat from an attacking perspective and able to score goals. The issue is with Southampton is up here, whether their players are knowledgeable enough to know when they need to be pressing, when they don't, and B, I think when that first line of press has been going and counter pressing high, the second line of midfield is not sort of comfortable enough with this sort of pressing, and they haven't been pushing up and blocking off the passing lanes, so that other teams have been able to bypass that initial press and then be straight into Southampton. And that's what Brentford did really nicely in transition, is just get past that counter press initially, get in between the lines, and then you have the Mbumos, the Wissers, the Shardas all running on, and they cause Southampton a lot of problems. So I think it's you can see from Juric this is sort of what he had in like some of his previous teams. I think like Torino and those sort of guys. They win the ball a lot higher up, and once they sort of learn this system and are able to do it, I think they'll obviously get a bit more used to it and leave a few less gaps in between the lines. But at the moment, I think they're still having these defensive issues. They do look a little bit nicer going forwards. Obviously, they're not always passing out short from the back, so they're not like giving away goals that they have been doing this season. But yeah, I think the ability to go long, you've seen Ramsdale hit those long balls. You've got Paul Onuachu up the top for Southampton, who's been able to hold the ball up and allow Southampton to get up the field a little bit. You've got Dibbling with that sort of running that sort of got them up the field. So from an attacking perspective, they're slightly improving. Defensive, I think they're also slightly improving, but they've got to get used to that counter press, because at the moment they're going to get torn apart by transition teams that can pick up in between the lines for them. Brighton Arsenal 2+ goals scored. I just fancied both teams to score in that game as well, to be honest. Arsenal did not look fantastic going forwards though, to be honest. So maybe the Gabriel Jesus injury is a blessing in disguise for my team to take him out. Salah's return, I think, is just a cheat code, so I've got to stop picking that. I think I didn't go for that this week. So my Game Week 21 predictions, here they are. Brentford to Man City, both teams to score. Maybe I'll go rogue. I could change some of these. I wonder if I can. Let me just pull up a side screen, and I'll put that back up on screen, guys. Just give me a second so I can change it while I'm also chatting to you guys, and while I have it on the screen, I'll just pull it up on a side screen to sort of make changes to those predictions. Apologies, let me put those back up on screen. So Game Week 21 predictions. Yeah, I got Brentford Man City to be both teams to score. Look, I think Brentford are definitely going to score. I think Man City are obviously a good attacking team. I think Brentford have been poor defensively. I think both teams to score makes sense from a tactical setup, right? Man City ultimately struggling in transition, don't have the legs in the midfield. Brentford have tons of legs in their team, tons of counter-attack, really good in transition. That's where Man City struggle. And I think especially down Man City's left, Mbeumo, if he can get one-on-one with Guardiola, is going to cause him all sorts of problems. Wissa, with his footballing IQ, is just going to pick up some really nice spots. Yeah, I think that I'd be surprised if both teams don't score in that game. Let me put it that way. Very surprised. Chelsea and Bournemouth, I've gone for 2 or less goals. I think obviously Bournemouth and Chelsea, I think 5th and 6th for goals conceded this season, for least goals conceded this season. Neither team have conceded a lot of goals, although Chelsea have been sort of conceding those late ones. So yeah, I think for me the fact that they both play this sort of 4-2-3-1 formation, the fact that Bournemouth are missing their main striker in Evan Nilsson, that now is also out. They're obviously going to set up a little bit more defensively. They're going to look to hit Chelsea in those set pieces. That's where Bournemouth have been so good this year. They've obviously got their set piece coaching. They've been excellent from set pieces. What is the time? 3:21. We've got plenty of time to the deadline. Guys, if you do want to have your team review, post your team ID in the chat. We'll chuck you up on screen and we can chat through your teams and what I would suggest. West Ham v Fulham. Look, I went for a draw. I think I put this after we had Graham Potter. I thought this one was a bit of a tough game to predict because I think Fulham have sort of set up a little bit differently of late, and obviously difficult to predict how West Ham are going to set up under Potter and also how they're going to play. My predictions are that Kudus plays centrally, that you probably have Paqueta on the left, Somerville on the right, or maybe even Paqueta in that like cam role. Because I just don't know if they're going to start Danny Ings up top. Because if they start Danny Ings up top, then it's going to be similar to what they've been doing. Paqueta on the left, Kudus cam, Somerville right wing. And like to be honest, like I was actually saying this, and I've got a mate who's a West Ham fan who also I've had this sort of chat with him. I think their best lineup when Bowen is back is probably to have they really need a striker, but it's to have Bowen on the right, Somerville on the left, and Kudus and Cam. Forget about Paqueta, man. Like he gives away the ball far too frequently. West Ham struggle quite a lot defensively in transition. They're quite slow in that central midfield area with like Souček and Rodriguez, etc. And also like centre backs not particularly fast, so they really do struggle defensively in that transition area. And I think Fulham, being one of the teams who have like the fastest progressive carries and progressive moves in the Premier League, someone who could cause West Ham some problems defensively. My thoughts are, I just think Graham Potter, when he was at Brighton as well, has a really nice offensive style, and sort of almost started off this nice Brighton style of play that Hersel has managed to sort of tweak and make his own. And I just think that he'll get something working with West Ham, and they will be able to score goals. So I went for a draw. I'm not very confident in this, but I wanted to have some picks that are a little bit different and a little bit less easy to predict than maybe both teams to score or something like that. Forest Liverpool again, I think depending on formation and tactical setups for Nuno, I think both teams will score. I think if he sets up in the 4-2-3-1, I don't think Forest score. I think if he sets up in the 3-4-2-1, I think Forest will score. I think it will be a high scoring game. I think if he sets up in the 4-2-3-1, I think Liverpool keep them out. That's my pick for the week. What 5 mids and 3 attackers would you go for on a wildcard? We were actually halfway through a wildcard team and I got distracted on this. So maybe we run back to that, Logan, and we'll just put together a wildcard team for you. Let's chuck up on the stream. And if you do want your team talk through, Logan, obviously we can put it up on screen. If you give us your team ID, we can chat through transfer plans for you. But yeah, if we look to put something together like this, again, when I speak of wildcard, and as I've been speaking about on the stream, you've got to consider your chip strategy, you've got to consider Gameweek 29. I think that's really important. My personal opinion is that you should try and manage Gameweek 29 and not play a free hit in 34 when there'll be likely to be more blanks. So I would work towards, obviously in 29 the blanks are going to be likely to be Newcastle, and then I'm going to assume that Liverpool come back and beat Spurs. So I'm going to say Newcastle, Liverpool, Palace, Villa are going to be the blanks in 29. So just consider that on this wild card, that in 29 you need to be able to play 11 still. So again, rolling transfers over this period between 21 and 29 are really important, so that you can maybe have 4 or 5 transfers going into game week 29. Yeah, I completely agree, Logan. So let's run through this together. And then, yeah, we'll talk about maybe transfer plans on the route forward. I think, look, at this time, for double game week 24, you want to have 3 Liverpools in. So I think, for me, I'd rather have 2 Liverpool defenders. It's a little bit safer. You're more likely they're going to play every week. I don't think Trent's an issue. I think he's going to start. And I like Alisson in goal. Fabianski is the other goalkeeper. Works quite nicely. In game week 29, he obviously plays, and then you don't have to sub Alisson, and West Ham have Everton, which is a really nice fixture. So I think Fabianski works really nicely as that second goalkeeper. I think at the moment, over the next few game weeks, Mbeumo, Palmer, Salah, Gordon are my favourite midfielders, probably along with Bruno Fernandes. I don't know how we're going to go for price at the moment. Which 3 matchday minutes? Nice name. Which 3 start out of Robinson, Hall, Rodgers, João Pedro and Wood? Definitely start Rodgers. I would probably bench João Pedro just because I don't think he'll start. Potential minutes, any risk anyway. Which 3 start? I wouldn't want to start 2 defenders, so Robinson or Hall. That's tough. Hall. I think that's 50-50, Robinson Hall. West Ham been bad. Fulham been bad. Not great defending. I'll go Hall purely because I think his attacking positions that he takes up have been really nice. Rodgers for sure I'm playing. I don't want to play 2 defenders because I'd rather play attackers, better, more upside. And then Wood against Liverpool. I think if Forest play 3-4-2-1, they're likely to score. So that looks like my 5 midfield. Then up top, what have we got with the sort of fixtures difficulties? If we look at these sort of team attacking fixture difficulties leading up to sort of that 29, United, but I wouldn't want to go into anybody more than Fernandes. Palace, you could go Mateta. I think he's a bit exy. You got Raul Jimenez maybe for Fulham. You could go into Brighton. No, not really. Nicholas Jackson, I think also still a really nice pick. I don't know why people give him a chat. Jackson, Jimenez. Don't really fancy Mateta. My brother might hurt me. Jackson or Jimenez. I mean, maybe we can go both. Or Wissa. Let's go Jackson and Jimenez for now. Let's see where we come to with. I don't mind Mikalenko at the back. A, for a price point at 4.3. B, that Everton double game week. I don't think Everton players are that crucial for the double game week 24, just because like Liverpool could beat them 5-0 and then it's just like having a single game week player. But on the off chance that doesn't happen, if you're on a wild card, maybe just have one. Maybe have Mikalenko. He's a nice price point at 4.3. And then we got 6.6. We're not going to quite have the money here, so we should maybe just go for a 3.9 defender that plays. Who's good? Gravesy. Is there anyone else at 3.9 at the moment? Oh, Bournemouth. James Hill. But they don't have very nice fixtures. Yeah, I don't think there's anyone else around that price point. 3.9. Oh, Gerald Kwanzaa would have been so nice for the double game week. If Kanai didn't come back in time. And then who's my other defender? And then I like the look of Matera over the next 10 game weeks, most likely on pens as well. Yeah, you and my brother both bloody Palace fans. Look, I don't hate it, but again, 29 Palace are going to be blanking. Captain Palmer of Samuel Lewis. Lewis, I thought I pulled your team up earlier, mate. I'll pull it up again in a second. I'd captain Salah over Palmer for sure. Like, not too much thought needs to go into that one for me. I think much better fixtures. And then maybe if shit, sorry, I realised I wasn't showing this. So yeah, I put Jackson, Jimenez, but yeah, I think maybe if you want to go Mateta, then that's fine. Just obviously got to consider Palace blanking. Got to consider Palace blanking in 2029. Lewis, I'll pull you up on screen in a sec, mate. I'm just going through this wildcard draft for Logan. Guys, if you are enjoying this content so far, please remember to give a subscribe to the channel. Just a small channel trying to grow, trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're almost there. I think we're on like 970 at the moment. We're almost there. So I really appreciate it if you could subscribe and like this video. It helps it get pushed out to more people. Yeah, would definitely appreciate that, especially considering I'm streaming at 3:30 in the morning in Australia, which is dramatic. And then like defensive fixtures over this period, again, you probably like Fulham is quite nice. Fulham is probably my favourite. But then you struggle sort of over this, see like that, you kind of want a nice fixture there. Because this week, but then you got Mikolenko, you got Hall, he's going to blank. You got Greaves against Forest. Yeah, I think you go Forest defender here. I think you go Forest defender here because then they have Ipswich in 29. So I think you end up going like an Aina. Let's go Milinkovic, the price point. And then end up slightly over budget, so look, obviously things we can look at to fix. I think you could downgrade any one of these midfielders for Morgan Rogers. You can downgrade Mateta to a Wissa, and then I think like you're roughly going to be able to afford those sort of things. But let's just like this is like roughly what we say for now. When you do come to then game week 29, you'll have Fabianski, Mikolenko, Greaves, Milenkovic all playing. And then Fernandez and Mbumo, Palmer, 3 in midfield, and then 1 up front. So you have 3-3-1. So you need to make 3 transfers. I would recommend keeping Salah, ISAK for their price, and probably at that stage likely Gordon for the Newcastle fixtures that are going to come up after that anyway. Because after 29. Newcastle from an attacking perspective still have some really nice fixtures if you look at this, so you want to try and keep Gordon in there. So yeah, I'd look to move in 29 a Mateta, maybe Hall, and then play 4-1-2-3. You might have to play like 5-3-2. Move Trent, Hall, Jesus. That's probably what I would do. So maybe like whoever's got good fixtures in 29. So Forest have Ipswich, so probably like Aina, double up. Get someone else in like a Fulham defender, like a Robinson, and then bring in like Chris Wood up front. That's probably where I'd go. I'd even considered Chris Wood right now, having him up top with Isak and Raul. I wouldn't mind that at all. Then don't have to make the transfer. So yeah, you could probably go something like this for your wildcard team. Not bad. If you need to make downgrades, downgrade one of these guys to Morgan Rogers. It's probably where I'd go, Logan, mate. Ferrari, bench Rogers or Wood? Bench Wood. I like Rogers. Alright, Lewis, let me put you up on screen, mate. Sorry. Oh, this is you, yeah? Yeah, this is what we were doing previously. We were doing our team review. So yeah, I think what I spoke about, weren't we talking about like Timber versus Cooley, all of that stuff? Maybe I was talking to someone else about your team. Yeah, so I think like what I was saying is this week I'd probably go play Aina, play Robinson, and then it's between Timber and Mikolenko. And then you'd obviously play Mbumo, Palmer, Salah, and Ahmad. You'd probably play ISAK. And then your decision is, who do you prefer over Wood, Cunha, and Kulusevski? I think if the answer is Kulusevski is your least favourite, you bench Kulusevski and you play Timber in defence. That's an easy one. If your answer is you prefer a Wood or a Cunha, if your answer is you prefer Kulusevski and you dislike a Wood or a Cunha, then you probably play Kulusevski plus, say for example, Cunha, and then you bench Timber and you start Mikolenko against Villa. And yeah, I'm looking forwards with that team as well, and sort of thoughts for transfer plans. I think Mikolenko's nice going forward to that double game week 24. Aina and Robinson obviously lovely. Timber for me is the one that I'm looking at. Can he move to like a VVD, a Trent, Kanate, any of those towards that game week 24 double game week for Liverpool? That's probably, I'd maybe look to move a Timber to whoever you can there. And then look, I think whether you want to go for a double Liverpool in midfield or double Liverpool at the back, based off your risk tolerance. My personal view is I prefer the double Liverpool defence because I think their players are more locked in to play both game weeks in a double. Niels, hey mate, how are you doing? Blimey, it must be like crazy 5 AM, 5:30 in the morning for you. In New Zealand, 3:30 for me, so I'm falling asleep, mate. Good to see you on. You can see my new stream set up with the chat and the thing here. Yeah, so I think then I would think for you whether you want to go Kulusevski to maybe like, I don't know, Luis Diaz, hope he plays both, Jota, or even a Cunha to like a Gakpo. But if you want to go defence, it would probably be for me Sanchez to Alisson. I think is the best sort of move to get that triple Liverpool in. That's probably where I'd be looking at priorities over the next few weeks, is to work towards getting triple Liverpool in your side for double game week 24. And really for 23 against Ipswich. Who to bench between Rodgers, Ahmad, Pedro? Might not play. I'll reread for you the comments from Hertzler. Niels. He's training with the team, and then we can decide if we'll take the risk to play him. What's most important is how the player feels. We won't do any stupid things. We have to wait until after the training session. We can't forget that he's still a very young player. So I think, given that they play Wednesday and Saturday, although he did mention also João Pedro wants to play, like he wants to play in the game. But yeah, I think he... Start João Pedro and Mbumo. Gareth, mate, start Mbumo. I'm thinking about captaining Mbumo. Please start Mbumo. It's such a good game week. Mbumo v City, such a good game week. Such a good game week. Gotta start Mbumo. Not even a question. Gamer, hey bro, yeah, I made that second chance league for you guys. Oh yeah, guys, I do have a FPL leagues now set up on the FPL site. It should pop up. If it doesn't pop up, I can even force it up a little bit. Can I? Oh, I know where it'll be. Let me show it on the screen. Here. That's my FPL league on the screen there. The top code is the Gameweek 1 league, starting from Gameweek 1. And the second one is for those of you that maybe started a little bit late this season. The scoring starts for Gameweek 19 plus. So that's sort of the second chance league for you guys if you didn't start at the beginning of the season. Start 2, Marcus, Munoz, Hull, JP, Semenyo. Ooh, that's tough. Bench Semenyo for sure. Probably Munoz, JP. In the off chance that he plays. Prefer him, maybe. Yeah, Niels, honestly, I really, in my heart, think Mbeumo is the best captain this week. Very close with Salah. Sorry, I mean, when I've thought it through, I ended up at Salah. But my gut is telling me that I should be going Mbeumo. Yeah, I just think, for Palmer, I just think that Bournemouth Evan Ilson's not playing this week. So they already know that they're missing their main striker, they're missing it now as well. They're going to be setting up more defensively because they know that they don't have those goal scoring options. They also play the 4-2-3-1, which is like the same as Chelsea's 4-2-3-1, which I think means that Palmer's not going to get as much space in between the lines. And also Bournemouth conceded the 5th least goals in the Premier League so far this season. That's just why I couldn't go for Palmer. Gaming with Cobble Monster 10. What a great name. There's some great names on the stream today. Martinelli or Rodgers? Rodgers. I've still not been great in opening play recently. Not been great in open play. Sorry guys for eating on the stream, man, but I'm trying to keep myself awake at 3:45 in the morning. But I need to trick my body into thinking that it should be like alive and awake at these times. So yeah, I've just got my blackberries, strawberries and blueberries. Keep the sugar levels up. Hopefully don't attract any spiders. Yeah guys, once again, if you do enjoy this content, if I'm helping you in any way with these answers, please subscribe to the channel, like the video. It really helps this small channel grow. As I said, we're on the push for 1,000 subscribers. I think we're around 975 last time I saw. So yeah, if we can sort of push to 1,000 this week, that'd be great. I like Mbeumo too, but I feel Bournemouth press will be out of whack and will give Palmer and Jackson more space. I don't know. Not sure. I think they'll set up defensively away from home as well. I think Palmer, if he's going to score, he's not going to be running in behind. I think he'll be more of an assist threat in this game. Would I play Wood or João Pedro? Ben? Probably play João Pedro. No, would I? No, I'd play Wood. I'll play Wood. Reason I was talking about it, I think if Forest set up in that sort of 3-4-2-1, I think the game could be like 2-2 or 3-3. I'm hopeful that Forest do set up in that 3-4-2-1. And yeah, I think I've still got to make my transfers this week as well. And I think, now I'm talking to you guys, I might have a quick look at, there's not going to be any like team leaks or anything like that, but I'm just going to quickly look if there's anything. Team leaks. Man, there's some rogue stuff that comes up on Twitter these days. Sometimes I'm like logged into my personal Twitter, and it's like I don't really use it on my personal one. I mean, to be honest, I don't use the FPL one too much, other than to post for you guys when stuff happens. But potential Gameweek 21 captain. That's what I just read. Anthony Gordon. I actually think that's a really interesting shout for captaincy this week. If ISAK either doesn't start or comes off early, it's likely that Gordon goes into that centre forward role. Also, probably on pens at that stage. So like legit could be great. Legit could be a great captaincy option, Anthony Gordon. Not against it. Not against it at all. Not against it at all. Best 4.0 defender replacement for Timber. Need funds for Bruno. 4.0. Oh no, mate, let me have a look at that one for you, ISAK. Haven't really put normally just with the 4.0s I don't really put too much thought into it, but I'll have a look for you. Best 4.0, let's look at the run of games coming up. Defence. Have Ipswich got any nice games? No, not really. Southampton? Not really either. Does it have to be 4.0? Well, Longside, hey mate, good day. Evening here, just got here in your video. Hope everything's well out there. Is ISAK playing? What are your transfer plans? ISAK, I'll read the Eddie Howe quote again for you. He basically said they, including ISAK, were left out with genuine reasons, all different things, but nothing major, we hope. So minor problems that we needed to settle down. Fingers crossed they'll be there or thereabouts. My view is that ISAK will play, he'll likely start, and he probably won't play the full amount of minutes. I think that is the most likely situation for ISAK this game week. Sorry, 4.0 ISAK. I'm still looking, mate. Does it have to be 4.0 ISAK? Sorry, my pronunciation of names is equally as bad for normal people as it is for FPL players. So bear with me. I mean, no offence. Leicester, what are their fixtures? No, not great either. If you can go 4.2, Castagna definitely is the best option around that price point. Definitely. 4.2 Castagna. If you can go that. ISAK. If it has to be 4.0, I think it doesn't really matter that much. It's probably Bednarek, Greaves. I'd probably check Greaves at 3.9. Finners, what's up, mate? Good to see you. Whenever you come in, I'm always got to flick to your specialty page, mate. NYFX, hey mate. 4.0 bank might get Jackson out for a 6.3 striker to get Bruno. Yeah, go Wissa. Jackson out for 6.3 striker, perfect for Wissa. Wissa's 6.2. If you don't have Mbumo as well, I think really nice fixtures coming up for Brentford. If you look here at screen now, 23 through to 29, like really nice attacking fixtures. And I think this week Man City is also a really nice fixture. It shouldn't really be an orange, but I'm just giving Man City benefit of the doubt on my spreadsheets. Well, alongside, mate. So good to see you, mate. Good to have you back. I love to have the diversity in the chat. NYFX 3 mil, and I'm going to need a huge Reno next week. Next few game weeks. Wildcarding this week. Oh, we just did a wildcard draft actually, or like roughly. I'll put it up on the screen for you, mate. And Finners, I'll put your team up just after that, bud, and we'll do a live review. This is sort of roughly where we ended up. Solanke or Rogers. As in starting, Miss Mopride. Also good to see the female representation on the channel. Nice to have you. Welcome. We had a couple of female representation last week. It was good. I like to have this diversity on this channel. We have a good bunch of diversity. Yeah, NYFX, mate. This is sort of roughly what we talked about, and the reason for this, and like that, and look, this could. What have you got? You sells Anana. Yeah, so we wanted to go triple Liverpool ahead of the game week 24 double, where they have. So if we run a wildcard, this is for everyone that's just joining. Bournemouth and Everton, you want to sort of have that for that, and then also game week 23 they have Ipswich, and they have quite a nice fixture run. We had Mikolenko in there just at that sort of cheap price point plus the sort of double game week. Raul and Mateta was one of the ones we sort of said you could go either way depending on price. We went down to Raul just to sort of save money elsewhere. Another thing that we sort of said is in this midfield you could go down to a Rodgers quite easily. The reason Raul over Mateta is because we're talking about chip strategy as well, and when you get towards game week 29, my personal opinion is the best option is to try and manage your team through game week 29 and free hit in the blank in game week 34, which is likely to be a bigger blank. And in game week 29, my expectation is that Newcastle make it through, and Newcastle in game week 29 play, I think it's Palace. Oh shit. Yeah, they play Palace. So then Mateta becomes an issue for that game week 29 in your team. And I'm assuming that Liverpool sort of overcomes Spurs. I know that's a bit of an assumption, but then Liverpool and Villa players. So it's basically your 3 Liverpool players are going to be unavailable, your 3 Newcastle players are going to be unavailable, and then if you also have Mateta is going to be unavailable. That's going to be 7 players unavailable. And if you have Rodgers, it could be 8. So for me, that's the reason that I didn't have Mateta in that team. I'm looking to sort of roll transfers towards 29, and then in 29 maybe pull out Trent, Hall. I'd leave Salah, Gordon, ISAK just for the price. Trent, Hall. If you haven't, Alisson and Fabianski. Fabianski has a really nice game week in 29. He's got Everton, so you can just play Fabianski, which is why I think that goalkeeper combo is nice. And then you can just replace these 2 defenders maybe with like an Aina or a Robinson, and you can end up having 5-3-2, and you can play 5-3-2 for game week 29 and just sort of manage through that game week. And then probably wildcard in 32 or bring some of these guys back the game week after. And that's still a nice, like that front 8 is still really nice. And you haven't had to make any changes. So this is sort of like the rough sort of template I'd be looking at for a wildcard. And many City assets worth it as differentials from game week 24. 24. No. Look at that fixture run. Chelsea, Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool, Tottenham. That's not easy. Maybe from like 29. Once you get into that blank in 29, you might move on. Yeah, I'm pulling your team up, mate. Don't worry, I've not forgotten about you. You're my main man. Can't forget about you. FY everyone, this is Finn's banner in the bottom left corner there. Miss Mopride, yeah, I have Ahmad in mid instead of Rodgers, but now I'm thinking maybe play Rodgers and Ahmad. I'm thinking Ahmad might be wing back. I'm overthinking now, thanks for the welcome. I'd play Ahmad and Rodgers for sure, yeah, this week. What's your team ID, Miss Mopride? I will pull it up on screen and we can talk through your team. Like, this is what I'm showing at the moment is Finn's team. We do like team reviews on the channel, so we talk through transfer plans and like benching. It's a lot easier to give advice on who to start and bench if I can see your full team. I think like when people just give certain options, like maybe there are other options you can give. So yeah, chuck in. And guys, please subscribe to the channel if I've been helpful with my responses. On our way to 1k subscribers. I think we're on about 975 at the moment. How do you send your team NYFX? If you go to like the normal fantasy football and you go to the points section, in the website ID at the top, it will have like fantasy.premierleague.com/entry/your team ID, which will be like 7 numbers, and then just post that below in the chat, and then I can pull up your team like this, like I've done for Finners. 6-2, good to see you, bro. I'll get yours on. Harry Lord, stuck on who to start out of Sarge, Al Pedro and Delap. I'll get to you guys next after this one, guys, so just bear with me for a little bit. Any changes in your team, Finners? 1 free transfer. I think you should roll, if I'm honest, mate. It's really good at the moment if we can look to sort of roll the transfers over this time. I think your backline's fine. Midfield, Ahmad, Gordon, Salah, Palmer, play all of them. ISAK, Wood, Cunha, fine. Defence is nice because you've got Mikalenko and Trent for that double game week. Yeah, I think, like I've been saying to a few people, just look towards moving towards those triple Liverpool for game week 23 is when I'd look to try and get them in. So it depends if you want to go double Liverpool midfield. Thanks, Miss Mofo, I appreciate the sub. Yeah, so it depends if you want to go double Liverpool midfield or double Liverpool defence. Like what I've been saying, my personal preference is the double Liverpool defence because I think they'll play both weeks. So I sort of would be thinking like maybe an Alisson in goal. But you could easily go like Kanate in there. For Gabriel, you could move Gabriel for Kanate. Or you've got the money in the bank to go Greaves. I probably wouldn't. But yeah, you could also then choose to go midfield. I quite like your midfield at the moment, but you could look to move McNeil to maybe a Luis Diaz or a Jota for those 2 game weeks. You just got, yeah, I think it's tough for Liverpool to go for a midfielder over a 2 game week period. Or you could even go Gakpo up front for Cunha. So I think that's your sort of thought process, Finners. Like towards, like you got 20 with game week 21 now, and you got 22, and then in 23 you want to have 3 Liverpool versus Ipswich, and then you want to have the 3 for the 24 double. So that's what I'd be looking to sort of progress your team towards. There's no immediate glaring issues with that team. I think it looks nice. I think people that I would consider moving, obviously McNeil, maybe Cunha, and then defensively possibly Gabriel, possibly Flecken. Yeah, if you're looking for a Liverpool defender. That's my thoughts, mate. Who was next on the team review numbers? It was Suksu and then Harry Lord. Suki, let's do you first, mate. 1389322. Alright, got a benching dilemma and captaining, any help? Cheers, man. Alright, so I spoke about captaincy. Like, I think the best options are Salah and Bumo, Fernandez, and probably Anthony Gordon, having had the ISAK news. Like obviously the ISAK news from Eddie Howe was he sort of expects him to be. So the quote is he was left out with genuine reasons. All of the players had different things, but nothing major. We hope. So they were all minor problems that we needed to settle down. Fingers crossed they'll be there or thereabouts for the game week. So that to me, and especially with the fact that Newcastle don't have another fit striker with Callum Wilson out, means I think ISAK will probably start. I think his minutes will probably be a little bit managed and he'll come off a little bit early. So for a captaincy option, I'd rather not go for that. Hamad Ahmed, thoughts on the team? You need to put the team, maybe put your team ID in the chat, mate, as well. I'll pull it up. Yeah, so captaincy, I think, again, like Salah, I talked about knowing Forest's formation. If they play 3-4-2-1, I can see that game ending like 2-2, 3-3, based off them obviously looking to pin down the Liverpool fullbacks, get 2-on-2 with the wing backs and like Hudson-Odoi and Elanga against Trent and Robertson. That's where Liverpool caused the most problem. That's what Man United did against them. And then I can see both teams scoring, because that would allow Salah to have a lot more sort of one-on-one opportunities as well. If Forest play their 4-2-3-1 formation, which they're more likely to do, and they have done more frequently this season, I just can see Nuno making a little bit of change, but that's how they played Liverpool in the first game. Again, I think potential for less goals in the game. But I think that Liverpool are going to be used to playing against that Forest low block and are not going to be as poor as they were first half of the season in terms of breaking it down. So I still think Salah's a nice option. Liverpool have 65-70% possession. 8703, yeah, 3620. We'll get to you, Hamad. We just got Harry to go after this, and then we'll come to you. Nish, good to see you, bro. What's good, man? 4 o'clock in the morning for me here, so not much is good. But the good thing is you guys are on it, so it's been good having a chat. And then in terms of your actual team, so benching dilemma for this week. So who would I bench in this team? That is a benching dilemma, to be honest. To be honest, there's just so many options. Your benching dilemma has scuppered me. Bench Ramsdale. That's the easy one. Play the Brigham. Far out. This is hard, man, because I think Chelsea Bournemouth will be low scoring, so I find Colwell and Kirk is difficult. And I think Liverpool Forest depends on the formation Forest play, so Virgil's sort of like a 50-50. I'd probably play I play Virgil van Dijk. I play Gabriel for the goal threat. I'll play Kirkes as... No, I'd play Colwell, because Bournemouth are missing so many attackers. Evan Nilsson's out, Vinal's out. They're probably playing like someone else up top. Could even be Semenyo. I'd probably... that's tough, because then you've got Semenyo into it. And then I'd probably bench Semenyo. Even though he could play up top. So I'd probably bench Aina, Kirkes, Semenyo. That's what I'd do, 6-2, mate. Hopefully that helps. That is really tough, though, to be honest. You could obviously sort of flip that and go the other way and play Semenyo and Kirkes, bench Colwell, I'd probably still bench Aina, and then I'd maybe bench João Pedro or Cunha. Harry, let's get you up, mate. Sorry for the wait. 2.1000. Just want to make sure I give everyone a good review. Guys, if I'm helpful, please sub and like the video. I'm trying to push for 1k subscribers at the moment. Almost there. I think we're on about 975. Harry, nice team. I like your team. Looks good. What questions did you have? Did you have any specific questions, or just wanted to go through the team? I thought you did have some questions. Stuck on who to start out: Sergio Pedro and Delap. Gordon is captain this week. Yeah, man. I wouldn't say against Gordon captain. Could be a good pick. I would say probably Salah would be my first choice, but yeah, Gordon's fine. I'd have him over ISAK. Thanks, man. Delap. You've got Delap, Harry? Oh, you must have made a transfer this week, hey? Probably Strand Larsen for Delap or João Pedro for Delap. Is that right? Because, yeah, I can't see the transfers that you've done before the game week starts. Sargel, Pedro and Delap. Maybe let me know in the chat, Harry. Sargel, Pedro and Delap. So yeah, Strand Larson now and Delap in. Okay, cool. Any other transfers, or was that the only one? Delap v Brighton. I'd play Sarr against Leicester. Man, I'd bench Cole. I'd bench Milankovic. I'd play Munoz. I mean, yeah, you could play Cole over Gabriel, but that's just an offensive threat for Gabriel. And Spurs are probably shitty off corners as well. So I play Trent, Gabriel, Munoz, Gordon, Salah, Palmer, Sarr for sure. Rodgers, ISAK. Then JPV Delap. JPV Delap. Think that's a bit of a 50-50, mate. Let me just have a think about this. Brighton. Let me pull up my Brighton team news. Brighton got a bunch of guys missing. Hutchinson's out for Ipswich. Sorry, JP. I think Hutchinson's a big player for Ipswich in terms of them moving up in transition through the field. I'd start JP, even though I think he might not start. Hamad Ahmed, your team's on a wild card, so I can't see the transfers that you've made. Alright, I'll just answer your questions. Would you say Atara, however you say his name, not play out front? Yeah, Dango Atara will probably play out front for Bournemouth, you're right. Hamad. Thanks, Harry. If I was helpful, please give us a subscribe, like the video, and stay tuned for next week when I've got some more content coming. Even though I am in Melbourne actually for the Oz Open, so slightly less content probably coming next week, but I'll still be doing a slightly early live stream. Alright, Hamad, let me just, if you're on wildcards, we did a wildcard draft earlier, which I just ruined by clicking on points earlier to show someone. Oh yeah, this is what it was. Ah, damn it. Get rid of double Liverpool or double Arsenal and get rid of Timber. ISAK Garcia. What was that for, mate? Get rid of double Liverpool or double Arsenal. I'll definitely get rid of double Arsenal over double Liverpool. You want triple Liverpool. I think this is roughly what our wild card was earlier, Hamad. I'll put it on the screen for you, and then we can sort of talk about it. And then I've got to make sure to remember to stop getting rid of it. It was roughly something like this with a couple of sort of open options. I mean, this could even be a Wisser or Wood. I mean, let's leave Wood because everyone loves Wood at the moment. So, but I'd probably personally go Wisser. Who are these defenders? Anyone remember? Anyone remember in the chat who these defenders were that we had in there? Must have been like Milankovic. Must have been Milankovic. And then some fodder, probably a Greaves. Yeah, so I mean, it's a little bit over budget. So I mean, the way to do that is get rid of one of these midfielders for a Morgan Rogers. That's pretty much the wild card that I would look to have. Pretty much the wild card I'd look to have. Triple Liverpool for 23, the Ipswich and the 24 double. One Everton for the double. I don't think it's really required, but fine to have. Yeah, I think that's probably what I'd go for. And then now we're talking about this, you're making me remember that I need to actually make my transfer for this week. And my transfer for this week is going to be Gabby Jesus to Johan Wissa. And before I make that transfer, I'm just going to do some snooping on. Would you buy Savio, Kenneth? I think Savio is a really nice option. I just think City fixtures suck at the moment. They got two nice ones, and then from 23 onwards, not very good. But I actually think Savio, like if I was to buy someone from City, he'd be my first choice. I think Savio is a really nice differential option, to be honest, Kenneth. And if you're interested in buying him, I would say you should probably buy him. Just obviously look at this fixture run. Like they have Brentford, Ipswich, and then Chelsea, Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool. Like that's tough. That's tough 4 in a row for City. But then after that, it gets nice. Like here from 20. This is my own FDR, by the way. I sort of do my own attacking and defensive FDRs. I think it's much better than the like this. Like they obviously differ for the attacking and defensive fixtures. So this is way different to the FDR. You can see both, and then you can see the trends and the fixtures are sort of highlighted. The nice fixtures in bold and. If people do want this, contact me through socials or something. I can flick to you or share maybe a Google Drive. I haven't thought it through yet. But yeah, I'll keep it for my own personal use and to showing on live streams. But yeah, I think Savio's fine. I think he's nice. Like he's very much a differential. For Man City, he can sort of click going forwards, but I mean we've been saying that for 20 game weeks now. Sales, Castagna, Chalobah, Hall, Bruno, Rogers, Palmer, Corden, Salah. Yeah, so midfield's. Let's go back, Hamad, to what we had. So Bruno, Rogers, Palmer, Gordon, Salah. See Bruno, Rogers, Palmer, Gordon. So you basically just have Noah Mbeumo and Rogers, which works fine. ISAK Raoul Wood. So this is basically the same. So it's really here at the back where we sort of have differences. And I'll maybe justify some of my picks and why I think the Sells and Nana is not a nice rotation. I think Alisson Fabianski is nicer. It gives you an extra Liverpool player for that double game week. Also, noting if we look at fixture difficulty as well, from a defensive standpoint, Liverpool's is reasonable over the next 5, but then really nice from sort of 28 to 32. And if you're wildcarding now, you're probably going to be stuck with the goalies for a while. Also gives like 29 Liverpool probably blank. They'll probably have another double somewhere over here as well. 29 Fabianski has Everton, so that's where Liverpool blank. And then 33 they might, 34 they'll blank, possibly blank as well, which will be against Brighton. How do I feel about Semenyo? I'm thinking about transfer. I don't like Semenyo. I don't like Semenyo at all, really, Nish, mate. I don't like the Bournemouth fixtures. They don't have any offensive players at the moment with Evan Nilsson and out, no strikers. And like, look, these fixtures are horrible. Chelsea, Newcastle, Forest, Liverpool, horrible. They get nicer from 25 onwards. At that sort of stage, he might be someone to consider again, to be honest. But over the next 4 game weeks, not for me. I think there are better picks over the next 4 that you definitely could use a transfer on. And I'd probably keep whoever you pick, look to keep them through to maybe 28 and then maybe 29, look to flick over. Sorry, Hamad, let's continue with what we were discussing. So yeah, and then in defence, you you had Mikolenko, you had Milenkovic, and you had Hall. So it was the Greaves, Trent. Yeah, so Schallenberg, Castagno, Greaves and Trent. Like, this is just for the Liverpool triple up for game week 24, which I recommend you try and get those guys in for, and also for Ipswich in 23. So that's sort of the differences here, just Alisson, Trent and Greaves. Captain Palmer or ISAK, neither Reader Amazuni. I would captain neither of them. ISAK, minutes risk this week. I think he'll come off a little bit early. If I had to pick out the two of them, I'd captain ISAK for 60 minutes over Palmer. I think Bruno captain is differential, locking it in. I like the Bruno captaincy this week. I think that could definitely be a good pick. Yeah, Nish. I like, if you don't have Rodgers, I'd probably look for Rodgers for Semenyo. I like Villa's fixtures up through to 28. I think they have some nice attacking fixtures. Redder, mate, do you have like a team idea or something? I can look at your other captaincy picks. You've gone with Salah captain quite bright. Look, if I'm honest, I don't think it's brave. Like, I think Salah's a great captaincy choice. Like, my gut tells me Mbeumo is the best captaincy choice for this week. I think Brentford in transition against City, honestly, it could be like 4-0. It could be 4-2. It could be 4-4. Like, if Brentford don't score against City, like, man, I'm going to be clipped so many times for betting my house. But legitimately, like, and also down that, like, the Guardiola side, like, Guardiola looks like he's terrified of anyone that runs at him with the ball. I really want to go Mbeumo, but Salah's blanked 2 game weeks out of 20. Everyone's just completely forgetting that he's like 2 game weeks out of 20. I know one of them was I like Rodgers as a shout-ish, mate, to be honest. I think he's probably the best at the moment at that price point. Maybe an Ahmad. The Man United fixtures are really nice coming up. So if you don't have Bruno, Ahmad could be nice. But Forest defensively could be a cagey game. Yeah, so I talked about this earlier on stream. I think it depends on how Nuno sets up. I think there are 2 ways that Forest can set up against Liverpool, and this is like where people need to understand more tactically about teams and setups. They can set up in the 4-2-3-1 that they set up in the first game against Liverpool, which would mean that they have Hudson-Odoi and Elanga probably on the wingers role. They're going to try and pin back Trent and Robertson into their own half, so Liverpool have less people coming forwards, and they're going to be really compact in their back 4 with a really low block, and the 2 defensive midfielders shuffling along trying to trap the runners that Liverpool push on through the midfield. If that's the case, Liverpool are going to have like 65% possession, and are going to have to break down the low block. They did a really poor job of doing that against Forest earlier in the season. They're going to definitely prepare for that. They're going to be definitely prepared for that low block. So I think that Nuno has the potential to sort of change things a little bit and play 3-4-2-1, which is a formation he's implemented a couple of times this season, and it was a formation that Man United played against Liverpool, where they played that 3-4-2-1, which meant they had 2 wing backs in that, the 3 and then the 4. You have the 2 wing backs, which would be Aina and Nico Williams. And then the 2, which is like the 2 10s, will still be probably Hudson-Odoi and Elanga. And so they'll still pin back the fullbacks, and then you'll have the wing backs in Aina and Nico Williams to get Trent and Robertson in 2-on-2 positions with maybe like Trent and Canate or Trent and Gravenberch, and 2-on-2s. And that's when Liverpool are most fragile defensively, is when you can expose their fullbacks to 1-on-1 defending. So I think if Forest do that then the other direction, they'll have the 3 centre-backs, and they'll have 3 centre-backs to deal with the Liverpool runners. But that means that Salah is going to get some 1-on-1 opportunities with every now and again with one of the centre-backs. So therefore, if Forest play that formation, I can see that game being a 2-2 or like a 3-2 or like, I don't know, 3-1, and be quite a lot of goals scored in that game. So I think it really depends on how Nuno sets up tactically. So I've sort of gone with Salah because A, his form's been ridiculous. B, he's not blanked in 18 and 28. I know one of them was Forest. And C, I just have a funny feeling that Nuno is going to set up in a 3-4-2-1 and the game's going to end up being like 2-2 or like 3-2. So it's nice to feel like Mo Salah is a differential captain when his returns have been absolutely mental this season. But yeah, there is something in my gut telling me Mvumo in transition against Man City, who've got 0 legs in their midfield, and Brentford being a transitional based team, I just feel like he's something that just tells me he should be my captain. But yeah, that's sort of my thoughts on captaincy. I spoke earlier about Palmer and how I feel like the Bournemouth 4-2-3-1 versus the Chelsea 4-2-3-1 sort of cancels each other out a little bit. It means that Palmer isn't going to be able to get in between the lines for Bournemouth as much. And also the fact that Bournemouth are missing their main strikers means they're probably set up a little bit more defensively. They've been very good at set pieces as well this season. I feel like, similar to Arsenal, I think Bournemouth have been really well drilled. So, yeah, I just feel like they're probably going to set up a little bit more defensively away from home as well. I don't like Palmer as a captaincy. I do like ISAK as a captaincy, and he'd probably be a lot higher on my list if it wasn't for the injury or the knock and the likelihood that they might bring him off early. But like Eddie Howe, even though he gave those comments, like, you can't trust what he says. He's like Arteta. These men are mysteries. Thank God we got rid of Lopetegui for West Ham. He's another one who doesn't bloody give me any information. Graham Potter, good bloke, told me everything I wanted to know about West Ham. Anyway, let me make my transfer before the deadline finishes, and I'll get back to you guys. Keep posting questions in the chat. But yeah, those are my thoughts on captaincy. Often gut picks are right. Yeah, mine, Whistler or Raoul for me this week, guys. I'm going to create my first ever poll. Put a poll in the chat. Whistler or Raoul? Who am I picking? %, Raoul. Come on, guys. Come on, don't do this to me. Let me put my attacking fixture difficulty rating up there while we discuss it. And let's just say Man City is actually a good fixture for Brentford. Raoul's sort of a penalty merchant. No, he's not. That's not true. It's not fair. No, 50-50. Come on. We can't do this. Don't do this to me. You're killing me. You're killing me. You're killing me. You're killing me. This is my one decision for the week, who to pick out of these two. That is my one decision. Nish. Raoul's been great ever since I dropped him. Raoul's better pick long term, you think so? I don't know. I like Whistler long term. Those fixtures 3-29 look nicer to me. Brentford score more goals than Fulham. Muniz has the rotation with Raoul, whereas Whistler's got nobody to compete with. But he does give me nicer price, Raul. This is probably the decision that's going to haunt me for the rest of the season. Because this one was never an easy decision to make, I think. It had to be one of those two because they needed to be playing in 29. Obviously, like Spurs could beat Liverpool and then Raul doesn't play in 29 and blanks, and that is a bit more of an issue. But then if Spurs beat Liverpool, my Liverpool players will be playing in 29, so it's not an issue. And Villa, so. Alright, screw you guys, you're no help, you're 50-50. No, I'm joking, thanks. 50-50 votes. End the poll because I can't see any of the flipping comments with that poll. Oh, I thought I could reopen polls, but I can't. Whoops. No, I'm going Wissa. I'm sure I thought it through a while back. I'm sure I decided that was the best option. I know he's going to get benched next week anyway, so I'm making the transfer. I'll do it live so you guys believe me. This is my transfer. Yes, they're in. And then I think I might chat with you guys about what my transfer plans are. So man, I really want to captain Mbeumo. I really do. Yeah, I think next week I'm looking to roll. Then game week 23, I want to get Alisson in goal. I'm going to be bringing in Alisson in goal, and to do that, I have to move Guardiola out, which I'm very keen to do. I've been wanting to get rid of Guardiola for a while. I will be moving him out probably for Mykolenko. At this moment, that is my plan. Bench Semenyo or Rodgers. Semenyo, Luke. Yeah, I don't know, you commented in the chat maybe with some odd. Dango Atara probably starts up front for Bournemouth. They're missing obviously some key players. Chelsea, better defence than Everton under Moyes will be different to Dijk. Also Rodgers just much better a player, more important a player also for Villa. So yeah, I think definitely bench Semenyo. Yeah, so I was talking sort of transfer plans. So yeah, I think mine are 21. Obviously, I just brought in Wissa. 22 roll. 23 is then I'll have 2 free transfers. It's going to be Ramsdale to Alisson, Gvardiol to Mykolenko in preparation for game week 24 double. Then ideally, I think I wrote down my thoughts. Ideally, you just roll 24, 25, 26. And then start thinking about who the guys are that I want for game week 29. Niels, I took out Odegaard and Semenyo from Mbeumo, and I'm mad. I understand Bruno or Gordon were better replacements for Mbeumo's better. No, I just think what you did is I think what you did is almost, I would say, better. I don't particularly think Bruno and Gordon are necessarily better replacements than Mbeumo and Ahmad. Personally, I think my favourite midfielder is Mbeumo. He's on penalties. He's got a fantastic fixture run. I would say over the next 3 to 28, right, 3 to 29, which is basically where I'm considering stuff. I'd say Mbeumo is the best midfielder, along with Fernandes probably. But like Man United, can you ever really rely on them? Diaz the GOAT, Dubravka or Martinez? Well, Martinez we're not 100% sure is going to be fit to play, so I'd go Dubravka. Go Dubravka. No, but I guess if the goalie's not... No, go Martinez. Go Martinez. Goalie doesn't play, you got Dubravka on the bench. This is for picking, right? Like one to bench, one to not bench. I'd go Dubravka. It's against Everton. You always got to pick the defence against Everton. Unless Moyes can change something. Robinson or Gabriel? That's hard, man. I'd probably go Robinson. With great reluctancy, but I'd go Robinson. Best goalkeeper to buy right now, Pickford or Sells? Alisson Becker for the Liverpool double game week. But out of Pickford or Sells, probably Pickford. Much of a much. Minutes guaranteed for Rodgers. Yeah, absolutely. Minutes guaranteed for Rodgers. Unai Emery thinks Rodgers is like one of the biggest parts of his Villa team. He's trying to get him to play more and more crucial roles. I think Rodgers is one of the most locked guys for minutes. Look, he might occasionally like get taken off because he's playing Champions League. 60, 70 minutes or whatever sometimes, but I think ultimately he's going to be starting and playing a lot of the minutes. Like if you've looked at the first half of the season, he's played so many minutes. With me, those two are better short term. Definitely agree with Mbeumo's better. I don't know, man. I think Niels. I think Ahmad's nice, man. I think it's hard to tell who's better between Bruno and Ahmad. It's like I think that one could go either way. Obviously, Bruno's on penalties, so probably a nicer short term pick. But I like Ahmad too. I think he's since Amarin's come in, he's got some crazy stat like he's got the most FPL points or something. I don't know, I might have made that up. Locked in team: Ahmad, Dubravka, TAA, Munoz, Hall, Bruno, Rodgers, Palmer, Mbeumo, Salah, Raul, bench, Selswood, Nico Williams, Miko Enko. Going to save transfers till Gameweek 29. Nice, mate. You went Dubravka scales. Okay, yeah, I think that's fine. Munoz, Hall, Palmer, Mbeumo, Salah, Raul. Yeah, I think that's good. Just obviously consider your guys for 29 are going to be TAA, Munoz, Hall, Rodgers, ISAK, 5 that will probably be not able to play. So you don't need to roll too many transfers. Probably you need to have 3 free transfers by then. And Dubravka, yeah, sorry. But then you can play Sales, so that's fine. Yeah, so that's pretty nice, Emma. Nice team. Did I miss any? Anderson to Consa next game week, Niels, what's your team ID, mate? It'd be good to see your team again. I can't remember. Blitz. I'm an Arsenal fan, so I'm an Arsenal fan, so hoping we go to Blitz Overwatch. Would you roll one transfer with Flecken to free up dollars for Alisson with 2 free transfers next game? Absolutely, that is exactly what I would do. I'd definitely look to be bringing in Alisson in game week 23. So for me, you can roll the next couple of game weeks I probably wouldn't bring in Alisson next week for Brentford, depending on who your goalie is. What do you think of the lighting, by the way, Niels? Got new lighting today. I know you're a regular stream watcher, so you might know. Yeah, I definitely threw out the 2 transfers blitz, mate, for sure. That's what I'm looking to do. I'm going to roll next week, and then I'm hopefully going to 22 roll, and then 23 I'm bringing in Alisson, using 2 free transfers, bringing in Alisson for Ramsdale and taking out Guardiola for probably Mikalenko. Niels, what are your early thoughts on double game week 24? Are you getting third Liverpool and or getting any Everton players? Yeah, sorry, I guess I was just discussing. I think triple Liverpool is a must for that game week. I think you've got to make sure that during... Sorry, I'm just putting your team up on screen. I think you've got to make sure that you have an idea of what your chip plans are going to be. And I was talking about my chip plans are definitely to try and free hit in 34 and not free hit in 29 and manage my way through 29. You want to get off Guardiola 2-ish? Yeah, I think it's a good idea, mate. I think City defence is tragic. HDA skills, I will definitely get to your team in a second. I just wanted to have a look at Nils', to be honest. Yeah, mate, I'd seriously consider Raya to Alisson and going double Liverpool. Or like if you wanted to go, like, I don't know, Gabriel down to Kanai or something like that. I think one Everton's fine, like given you've got Mikalenko, like I definitely wouldn't be getting rid of him. I'd probably just hold him through that double game week. Like I'm actually bringing Mikalenko in. I don't think that you really need to have an Everton player because Liverpool ultimately could win like 5-0 against Everton. And then like it's basically the same as having a single game week player. And then if you don't like the Everton fixtures, like what are you doing with an Everton player? So I think ultimately they're not needed. We'll see how they go under Moyes. I think that's probably the interesting thing to look at. And then if we look at what their defensive fixtures are, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, like actually reasonable, which is why I'm looking to get Mikalenko in for that sort of that run through to 29, and then I'm going to wildcard round here, probably 32 into a bench boost on 33. So yeah, I just manage with the rotations, and then assistant manager 36 to 38 I think is best place for it. But I'd like to wildcard into a bench boost 32 to 33. But I think it depends if they're like between 31 and 33. They might organise a couple of doubles. If they do, I might use my assistant manager chip there and hit two doubles within the 3 weeks. HDA skills, let me pull up your team, mate. 531799. Would you sell Foden for Bruno? I already own a man and have 2 free transfers. Nah, probably not. Not if you have 2 free transfers and you already own a man. Just roll. You'll be alright. Foden's fine. If anything, I'd probably go Savio, but no, I wouldn't make a transfer. I think Man City got 2 nice fixtures, and then game week 23, you can move off him. Enzo out for Ahmad or Eze, thanks. Ahmad. United have a really nice fixture run coming up. HCA skills. Alright, let's have a look at your team, mate. Leno in goal, Young below, Gabriel. Oh, very different, I like it. This is João Gomez. Huh. Cool pick. Not many people went for it. Ooh, Tosin. Yeah, he's got to go. Chelsea is fine. I just think he's 531997. Oh, sorry, mate. Did I type the wrong one in? Oh no, you gave me the wrong number. 531997. Henry Action. That makes much more sense. HDA. Maro, 20k overall. Congrats. You're gunning it. Keep going. 5.1 mil in the bank, 98.6 mil. Have you made any transfers this week? Levu, what's up, man? Good to see you back in the chat. Have you made any transfers this week, HCA? Because I can't see anything that you've made already so far. If you haven't, then let's have a look. Do you have any questions about your team, or you just want me to do a review? Okay, let's have a look, and I'll have a. Who have I got? Cap. I've got Salah, mate. But my gut tells me Mbumo. I know I posted that video that said Mbumo is number 1 choice. No transfers. All right. Sanchez in goal. It's fine. Trent, Robbo, Gabriel, Munoz, Howard, Bellis. Okay. Salah, Palmer, Rogers, Yarmolik. He's a 4.5 fodder, 4.4 fodder. Okay, so at the moment, obviously with a few injuries running about, it's probably important to strengthen your bench a little bit, especially with the weeks coming up. And then if you're looking to go towards 29 and you're looking to manage your team through 29, you're going to need your bench to be able to play. So you're going to need to have like 15 players. So that Yarmolik, you might need to think about upgrading. Just sub chat, let's get him to 1,000 subs. He's so close. Let's go, Schlubs. Big Al, I'll do your team ID next, mate. I want to do Bumo so badly. Yeah, leave it, mate. I really want to go. A lot of the top 10s went with Salah too. I don't like that. I actually want to go with Mbumo. Tactic. Everything says to me. Anyway, I brought in Wissa, so that's good enough, I think. Sorry, Henry. Yeah, I think my thoughts are like you got to try and improve the bench. So I'd probably look at moving Yarmolik up to Bruno, Mbumo. I'd probably go with one of those two. What if the low block works versus Salah? I spoke about it earlier, but I can talk about it again in a bit. Let me just get through some of the other questions. Yeah, I'd probably look to go Yarmolik up to probably a Bruno or an Mbumo. Those are probably the guys that I think have the nicest fixture runs coming up. So if we look at my own fixture difficulty for attackers, United have really nice fixtures leading up to sort of 28, 29. Also in 29 they have a really good fixture. So if you're managing that chip and you're trying to play players in 29, it's nice to have people who have a good fixture. Because like realistically, if people free hit in 29, like who are they going to put in their team? They probably don't have any Arsenal, Chelsea players anyway because they're playing each other. Let's say Liverpool, Villa, Newcastle, and Palace blank. Like, who are you going to have in? Like, Brighton have got City. You might have some City players in. Realistically, you're probably going to have in Man United, Nottingham Forest, Wolves, maybe Fulham and Tottenham, which are probably, like, realistically from a defensive perspective, they're probably guys that you're going to have in. And United, from an attacking perspective, if you have these United players in, if you have one United player in that attack, Ahmad or Bruno, I think that's really nice to hold through to 29. I obviously don't have one in my team, but if my team was slightly differently structured, then maybe I would. So driving home, just listening, wanted to roll, but Jesus causing me a headache. Do I go for Wood now? Big out, mate. Let me get to you in a sec. Honestly, I'll talk that through because I had that exact thing. I moved Jesus to Wissa this week. But if you don't have Wood, he could also be a nice option. But I'll do you in a sec, mate. Just give me a sec to go through Henry. Yeah, so Henry, I think Yarmolik to probably a Bruno or an Ahmad or a Mbumo for me is what I'd be looking to do for you. And then potentially, I mean, if you can't get up to a Bruno, you prefer an Ahmad, then you can keep a few more funds for using to upgrade maybe a Howard Bellis in the future. Second goalkeeper you don't need to worry about because Sanchez plays in 29. And then potentially look at a third Liverpool player. Maybe if you're... Howard Bellis kind of can play as a bench guy. Yeah, I mean, you've got options. Your options could be... I love it. I think your midfield's fine. I don't love Sarr, if I've got to be honest, but personal opinion on Palace not scoring a lot of goals. I don't like the double up on Palace, but like obviously they have a really nice fixture run. It's just me watching Palace. Like I think Sarr is the best option from Palace, and I think Munoz is the next best option from Palace. So I think of the players you've gone for, they're my favourites. But it's just I just don't think Palace score that many goals. Dries, start Gabriel or Rico Lewis. Gabriel, 100%. Without a shadow of a doubt, start Gabriel, not Rico Lewis. Man City will concede to Brentford. I've already bet my house on Man City. If I lose my house, Jesus, everyone's going to clip me. Henry, that's what I think, mate. I'm going to move on, but let me know if you have any further questions. Just give me a shout. Alright, Big Al, if you're driving, I'm in to talk to you now, mate, so listen up. I've got your team up at the moment. Your concern was wanted to roll, but Jesus causing you headaches. Alright, I understand, because rolling is obviously quite important at this point. ISAK, Jackson, Salah, four midfielders. Jackson, ISAK, could even play Munoz. Look, I think you can roll. I think you can roll, play Munoz, bench Jesus. But what you've got to take into consideration is you're probably going to move Jesus next week anyway. Like, I think he's going to be out long term. The news was it's likely an ACL. Arteta didn't want to say, but Arteta never likes to say anything. So my opinion from his facial expressions and like his nodding was that it's probably a bad injury and an ACL, and he's going to be out for a long time. So I'd probably move Jesus tonight, and actually you've got 10 minutes, so I've got to be a bit quicker with these answers now, guys, because it's 12 minutes till deadline. So yeah, I'd probably go Jesus to a Wood, a Wissa, or a Raul Jimenez. This week, obviously, like Wood's got a bad fixture against Liverpool, and he's got Southampton next week. But after that, fixtures are not amazing until 29. I obviously just moved Jesus to Wissa, so I think that's probably the best option. But I also think Raul could be good, and I asked the chat in a poll, and we were 50-50 on it. So I'd probably make the move this week, Big Al, mate. In the next 12 minutes, just pull over the car first. HA probably a crew mode. Now with your great rank, you can't go these gut captaincy decisions. I can, Nils. I can go these gut captaincy decisions. I want to do it. I want to go and boom mode, but I brought in Wissa as well. Dree, start Gabriel, Ridiculous, Gabriel. ISAK, Jackson, and Enzo out for Bruno and Raul or Ahmad, and Raul and bench Timber, thanks. Jackson and Enzo out for Bruno and Raul or Ahmad. I mean, yeah, I think those are good transfers. Either is fine. I'd probably just go Enzo to Ahmad to save a transfer. Don't move Jackson and bench Timber. Sure, bench Timber, no problem. Who's my captain? I'm on Salah, but I think Mbumo is just the best. Ben, start 2, Rogers, Semenya, Solanke, have double Arsenal defence. Start Rogers, start Solanke. Oh, you have double Arsenal defence. Rogers and Semenya then. Or bench one of the Arsenal defenders to play Solanke. Szoboszlai starting, Salah should be a good shout. I like Salah as a captain. I talked a lot about the tactical implications of Forest playing 3-4-2-1 versus 4-2-3-1. Levu, who would I start out of Jackson and Pedro? I'd start Jackson because I think João Pedro might not start or might have very limited minutes. But I think Brentford-Chelsea will be a tight game and not that many goals, so don't expect big things from him. If you want to be a more aggressive pick, João Pedro is a more aggressive pick, Jackson's a safer pick. I'm a bit of a safer manager, that's why I can't bring myself to go Mbumo as captain, but I want to. Bruno Palmer for captain Bruno. like I said, 4-2-3-1, Brent Faldi. 4-2-3-1 Bournemouth formation versus 4-2-3-1 Chelsea formation. Palmer's not going to have as much spaces in between the lines. They've obviously got the two defensive midfielders. Bournemouth also have like a lot of attackers missing. They're going to set up a little bit more defensively away from home. That's probably why. You give wise advice. What is your highest placing in FPL? Mate, to be honest, I've always normally just played FPL for fun. I think I've finished inside the top 1k before, but this was like back when FPL wasn't so like you have all these content creators and stuff. I took up this content creating this year because I think nobody gives a tactical view of games. None of the content creators really give like tactical opinions. They're great with statistics, but statistics don't tell you everything you need to know about matches. And I wanted to make it clear, and I think I've shown this season that really most of the reason I've got to like 44k in the world now is just because like I've made astute tactical decisions based off how I think teams are going to set up. Recently, over the last few weeks, even though I've been doing well in rank, it's been difficult because teams have been really tweaking their tactics quite a lot. So it's quite hard to know what they're going to do each week, and I'm almost having to predict what their like tactical lineups are going to be, which is quite tough. Just do it, Neil. Yeah, I know, mate. I can't do it. I'm going to watch that game, but it's okay because if Mbumo bangs it, it's fine. I've got Whisper as well. Wood or Rogers? Rogers. Also, John R. Straubby Johnson. This is you, by the way, mate. Wood or Rogers? I go Rogers. Have Trent, fine, play him. Also, who's captain currently on Palmer? Not Palmer. I'd probably captain, like I said, Salah, Mbumo, Fernandez, Anthony Gordon, in that order. What about Cole or Castagna? 40. Home now, Big Al, good man. Yeah, I made the transfer to Wood, Whisper or Raul. That's what I said. 40. What about Cole or Castagna? I'm assuming you're not asking for captain. Are you asking like who would I play out of Cole or Castagna? I'd play Castagna for attacking. The clean sheets are so hard to pick these days that generally for defenders, my answer is who has the best attacking potential, because clean sheets are just hard. Guys, 7 minutes to deadline. I'm just going to quickly look at my team because sometimes I spend all week thinking about videos for you guys and then answering you guys' questions and then forget to do the right team. This week I actually spent, play Castagna, Foldy. Game of Icefox, please, what's happening? I don't forget to do my actual team. First on the bench, Wood, Gabriel, Face. Yeah, this is my team. What I'm showing on screen. Gamer. I'm going to run through your team, mate. 6 minutes to deadline. 100, 5, 1, 9, 6, 1. Just get you straight up on there. Good to see you, bro. Alright. Kepa's out this week, mate. Can you make a transfer, get a keeper in? Kepa's ineligible to face. That's what I should probably make a transfer and move Kepa because Valdemar's not going to play. So otherwise you're going to be down to 10 players. He's ineligible to face Chelsea because on loan. Made 2 transfers this week. What are the transfers? Got 5 minutes till deadline. Liverpool, Arsenal more likely to keep clean sheet. Probably Liverpool. Who's ineligible? Kepa, your goalie. Arrizabalaga. Kepa Arrizabalaga. Because he's a Chelsea loanee, so he can't play against Chelsea. And Valdemar's not going to play. So now's the time to use a -4 because it basically is only a -2. And I'd probably go for like, you already had triple Liverpool. Maybe Pickford. Last week the team you're looking at. Use your free hit. Crap. How do I go back to your... I don't know how to go back on this to... Oh yeah, wait, hang on. Game week 19. Overall leagues are only available on current game week. That's fine, man. Just put my league up. Let's just do game week 19. Come on. Sorry, mate. I'm just don't normally know how to look at previous weeks. Can you type your team in the chat? Oh, 19. I've got it. I've got it. Why is Salah a better captain than Bruno this week, in your opinion? Man United's inconsistency for me. Man United, I think Bruno's a good captaincy option this week. I really do. I think Southampton counter pressing, that's their sort of new focus under the new manager. They're counter pressing. They haven't quite worked out in the midfield. Their second line to push up in the press, and Bruno's going to get in between those lines. And I think he could really do well. I think maybe more so from an assist perspective, but I mean both. I think Bruno's a good captain. If you want to go differential, Bruno's fine. I think not too. I just think Man United have shown so much inconsistency that I couldn't trust him as a captain. Gamer. What were your 2 transfers this week from this team? Otherwise, what would I do this week? I'd play Alisson in goal. Oh, fuck. Transfer Saka from Mbumo, Enzo for Rodgers. Okay. Play Robinson, play Hall. Play Ashley Young. No, play Aina. Play Pedro Porro. Screw it. Play Pedro Porro. Go for the attacking returns. Play Robinson, play Hall, play Pedro Porro. Play bench Ings. Ings could actually start for West Ham this week. He could genuinely start up front for West Ham this week. No, still bench him. Palmer, Salah, Rodgers, Mbumo. Play Olov. Play ISAK, play Cunha. Iwobi v Ings. So bench Young, bench Sells. Palmer, Salah, Rodgers. Bench Young, bench Sells, bench Aina, and then one of Ings or Iwobi. Should I play Pedro Porro for Young? Yeah, look, I just think he's got more attacking potential. I don't know whether Everton keep a clean sheet against Villa. I don't know whether David Moyes is going to set up as defensively as Dyche. Mate, 1 minute, just pick who you think, honestly. Either way. But I'd probably bench Ings, Aina, and someone else, and whoever else you want. 1 minute, guys, lock your teams in. 1 minute till deadline. Please lock your teams in time. We're still live, it's still working. It's not died yet. All the best, lads. Yeah, all the best to you as well, Nish, mate. Guys, if you're still watching, please sub to the channel. Give us a like. Hopefully we might reach 1,000 subs this week. That would be great. Vice captain, player, or Mbumo. Mbumo, I don't know who player is, but Mbumo. Player, who's player? Palmer, Mbumo. 5 o'clock, that is the deadline. That is the deadline. That is the deadline. We are locked. Game's updating. Thank you guys for joining. It is 5 AM in Australia and I am desperately in need of some sleep because I had about 2 hours of nap before this because I was setting up the stream. Leave it. Who'd you go? You went Boomo. You went Boomo. Let's go Boomo. Come on. I hope he guns it. If he guns it, I am literally the GOAT FPL content creator. Like, actually legit. I'm actually the GOAT. But then I'm a twat for not listening to myself. I'm going to get all the football folks in my office to subscribe and we're hitting that 1k ASAP. Nish, you're a legend, mate. You're actually a legend. Yeah, appreciate it. And like, if they want to chat football, like, hit me up. Always keen to chat football. I think at some point, like, when my channel grows a bit more, I might set up like maybe like a WhatsApp group and stuff for people to discuss stuff. But man, it takes up a lot of my time at the moment. This, and like with a full-time job, I'm sort of dying. Which is going to be really fun going to work at like 9 AM in 4 hours time, having not slept. And like we're super busy this week as well. Oh well, it is what it is. I tried to change the sound last sec, I got scared. Mate, I'm the other way. I almost just clicked and Boomo. Niels was on me. He's like, just do it, pick your gut. And what's the first games this week? They're all the first games, aren't they? Brentford, Chelsea. Yeah, mate. I just hope Palmer blanks, to be honest, because I really like don't. Yeah, I just hope he blanks. Red Bull for the win. Yeah, I need to buy some. I want to go to the corner shop in the morning and buy some. I don't know why Holly Shan has 37.5 subs if you're doing way better than FPL. Mate, I mean, to be fair to all content creators, like, what I do have to say is it does take time to like prep stuff, and especially like starting out. And let me get my nice new stream screen back. So come off Aaron Jackson, they are due. Yeah, Jackson, I'll support for you, Niels, mate. It does take time to prep stuff, right? So like even like this screen that I've got up at the moment, like this week I was spending time like trying to work out how to like put the chat in the screen so I could see you guys as you pop up. You could see yourselves. You could see I'm not like missing anybody out. How to then get like still the team news and like socials and that sort of stuff all working. And that like took me a bit of time to sort of like work through and work out how to do all of this stuff. So I'm gonna sub on 14 accounts. Yeah, as long as you watch all the videos on 14 accounts. The thing for me now is like watch hours. So like the longer people watch the videos, the better for me. So if you watch the videos to the end, even if you just leave some of my videos on, if you get bored of me halfway through, it really helps YouTube, because they obviously want people to spend more time on there. So yeah, like, subs, and like length of time watching videos is the best. Yeah, thanks Niels, you too, man. Good. I mean, you were up at 5 AM as well watching me, so appreciate you joining at crazy times. And yeah, I mean, I do like chatting to you guys, so I'll probably stay on for a little bit, but I'll probably go to bed in maybe like 10 minutes, something like that, 3 hours. I hate this. I'm neck to neck in my mini league. Going to be dreadful to have to wait and see this Salah ISAK cap. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Levu, I don't mind Mbeumo outscoring Salah. I genuinely don't mind it, because I know that like Mbeumo is not crazily high owned, and no one's going to captain him. So I can support you. I can support Mbeumo banging Salah out. I will be a little bit salty if he gets like 20 points again. I will be a little bit salty, but I will be messaging you if that happens. I have young kids, so it's easier for me. Have you looked into podcasts? Yeah, I just think at the moment for me, like, to grow my YouTube channel is probably the most important thing, and that's also the way that like I can sort of in the future look to sort of make it something where I can potentially do as a job if I grow it big enough. I mean, that's a long way down the line and stuff like that, but I mean, talking about FPL for a living sounds great. And like when I watch these guys that are like talking about FPL for a living, and like really, I've got to say, like, content creators, like, there is a lot of work that most of them have, a lot of them put in. But like putting up the statistics on screen is so easy, man. Like my videos would take like 5 minutes to do if I just was talked about who had the best XA and XG. Like, easy. I think I'll wake up my neighbourhood if it does. Yeah, I'm gonna wake up. my house and my neighbours if Mbeumo scores a hat-trick, to be honest. Yeah, I haven't looked into podcasts yet, Niels, to be honest, but I just think for me at the moment, it's going to be tough to do, and unless I can get like a podcast like on my YouTube channel or something, I probably won't do it, because I want to grow the sort of subscriber base first here, and then once I've done that, because I'd rather people be watching my videos on YouTube, because that's the sort of way that I can grow my YouTube and then like hopefully look to make it a career out of it and stuff. Whereas like podcasts, I don't really know how I can sort of push that forwards and grow. And like my life now is like I work in accounting. I did a CA as chartered accountant, so I'm like trying to fucking do less of that and more of football. So yeah, that's plus are they on pens? Who I just want Bruno for that differential. Who on pens, Levy? Mbeumo? Mbeumo's on pens. Love me a good XG / fixtures. Look. Honestly, I like XG and XA as well. I think it's very useful to have the data. But it's just obviously got to be. I mean, we've talked about this before, Levy, haven't we? It's obviously got to be used in context with other stuff as well. Content creators that just talk stats. Yeah, I don't like that much. Like, I can look at stats myself. Like, why do I need to listen to a content creator and put stats on the screen? That's not that hard. Yeah, what was I saying to you guys the other week? I put that fb.ref, the stats. So if you do want to look, you can just look yourself. You don't need to like watch other people. You just watch me. Just watch me for the tactical observations. But yeah, I'm in Melbourne this week for Aussie Open, so I'll probably be a bit less content. I'll try and get a video out. I don't know. I'm working tomorrow, so if I do get a video out tomorrow, then I obviously wasn't doing any work at work, so hopefully no one at work is watching. No, I definitely won't be doing that. Yeah, it might just be like an early Saturday deadline stream, because I can't do an actual deadline stream on Saturday because I'm out watching the tennis. But I'll probably just do a stream early in the day for you guys. So if you want like team reviews, transfer ideas, discussions on benchings and stuff, I can answer all your questions in the day. So I'll probably do that for you guys. Sorry, I could only get us 8, so fucking 3 days there. Mate, gamer, no stress, mate. Like, obviously, like, happy to just grow, people that are going to be watching all the videos and watching the channel. Like, happy to grow, what's the word that I'm looking for? Not properly, but, you know what I mean. Just grow normally, happy to do that. Like, we've made really good progress. I know this week, like, I probably haven't done that many videos, but it's mostly because I was working on like the setup of the screens and like how to bring in the chat. Like, I've put like some of my socials on the screen as well, like the Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, which I sort of really only just created TikTok and stuff, and trying to sort of grow the brand. So that's why I spent my time on a little bit more this week, because I thought like. All the content creators were posting quite a lot of videos this week, but I thought everything was pretty like not really necessary. Like, I already posted chip strategy ages ago. Everything that I said is just what people are reiterating this week, so I didn't feel the need to post a new chip strategy one. I think what I posted before still remains pretty accurate. For you guys that are on now, I do have like small updates, which would be I'm probably looking to play Assistant Manager 36 to 38 now. Just because I think the end of the season, if some, like, for example, if Liverpool win the league early, you can get the bonus by using it against Liverpool, who would be playing like a nobody team, or if Arsenal win the league early. And then free hit, I think, is the same. I'm looking to play in 34. I think that makes sense when you have a look, and you can manage 29 a little bit easier because there's only 4 teams blanking. And then wildcard bench boost, considering I'm playing assistant manager now 36 to 38, I'm thinking about wildcarding 32 into a bench boost in 33 for that double game week. And then trip captaining, obviously, this 24 Liverpool double, Mo Salah. CA. Yeah, break's good. Like I do enjoy. I will enjoy the tennis. I'm a big tennis fan. I'm looking forward to watching Carlos Alcaraz play. I hope I can see Carlos Alcaraz. That's my one goal for going to Australian Open. I've never been before. It's the first time I've ever been, so I'm super excited because I love tennis. I actually play tennis on the weekends as well. So yeah, I'd love to see Carlos Alcaraz play. I love him. Yeah. Anyway, that's sort of my chip strategy at the moment. I would say wildcard 32, bench boost 33, free hit 34, assistant manager 36, 38. But I would say that you basically need to make a decision at game week 30. You can change this at game week 30, but game week 30 is when you need to make the decision. That's when all the information will come up. Because I think like there could be like, although I say here the small double is game week 33, but that game week 29 blank could also be played, some of the games could be played in 31 or 32. I know no one's really spoken about that. But if you actually look at like the fixtures, anyway, I can pull it up, I guess, if you guys want to see it. I probably won't show it very nicely on screen anyway. But anyway, 31 and 32, there's like quarterfinals of Europe competitions. So if the teams that are playing in the EFL Cup final, so say it's Spurs and Newcastle, say Liverpool don't beat Newcastle, it's likely that quarterfinals of those cups, like Spurs will probably be out. Sorry, Spurs fans. Newcastle will not be in it, and it's Palace and Fulham. So they could easily, the doubles could go into 31 and 32, not 33. And if like one went into one week and one went into the other week, the assistant manager chip could be really nice to use in like two doubles in a row. So that's what I'm sort of just holding out a little bit in case that happens. And we should know that by game week 30. Or even by game week 28, we might know that. Yeah, maybe 29, we'll know that. Yeah, so that's sort of my thoughts. I'd say the ideal strategy is wildcard 32, bench boost 33, if all the doubles go to 33, free hit 34, and then assistant manager 36 to 38, where you might be able to use some of the table bonuses. Also 36 double game week you can get to. But I'd probably be in 36 if like none of the top teams they're still playing for stuff. Who'd I captain? FPL expert 1, 2, 3. You tell me. Yeah, the expert. No, I'm joking. I captained Salah this week, mate. I wanted to captain Mbumo, but I bottled it last minute. I'm gonna regret it. I know I should have captained Mbumo. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. Anyway, guys, I'm likely going to go to bed. So unless anybody has any questions, I'm going to take a nice 3.5 hour sleep to 8:45 and then wake up and turn my laptop on and look busy. Salah, that's a boring choice. Yeah, I agree, mate. It's a boring choice. Yeah, it's a boring choice. But I like it. Are you getting cheeky when I'm supporting your page? Sound you bring a cat and Bruno. Yeah, sorry, mate. No, I like Bruno as a captaincy choice. I think it's good. Like I said, my top 3 or top 4 was Salah, Mbumo, Fernandes, and then probably Gordon, given the ISAK minutes issue. Check my squad once it's in the name of Nifan right now, the top 90 in the world. What's your team ID, Paris? I'll actually put it up on screen. Oh, it might not come up at the moment because they're refreshing them. I think they're refreshing the game. Probably won't come up. Funk is the name. Yeah, I can't do it from the name. I need it from the team ID. Need it from the team ID. Also, guys, I got my bedtime for you, little bro. Yeah, you're fucking right, mate. You are right. It's bedtime for me. It's 5:15 in the morning. I've lost it. I'm even giving shit to my supporters now. The reason I captain Salah, I spoke about it on the stream. I won't go into too much detail and bore you guys again, but I thought the Forest might set up 3-4-2-1 like Man United, and I actually think that game might end like 2-2 draw. Why would I go to bed if the Prem is on in an hour? Mate, because it's 5:15 in the morning, I've been streaming for 3 hours since 2 AM, I've slept for about an hour and a half. I'm going to just watch the games at night. I basically just don't look at my phone in the morning. I got we watch on Optus Sport, so I can just watch the full match replay. So I'll just have it on my screen while I'm working in the morning, because I've got to get to work at 9 AM, man. Can't just sleep in. If I could sleep in tomorrow, I'll be watching all the games. But yeah, I'm going to have a nap for like 3.5 hours, get up, watch all the games. And then, yeah, see if you guys are going to give me more crap. 3, 5, 4, 1, 6, 7, 7. Let me try Paris, mate. I don't know if it 3, 5, 4, 1, 6, 7, 7. I think it will say the game's updating. Oh, got ya. 62, bro! You're on my channel, 62 in the world. Why are you here, man? You don't need to listen to me. You're too good for this. Why would you bother streaming then if that's the case? Would you not sleep and get up for the Premier Game? Why would I bother streaming? Tell you guys, man. That's why I'm streaming. Bro, Paris, that's epic, man. Good stuff. I like your team. Probably look at Strand Larson. It's your first time playing FPL. That is mad. Wow, 62 in the world. Nice, man. Man, I don't know if I'm qualified to be giving you advice there. Yeah, I mean, look, my thoughts are I'd probably look moving Strand Larson on, maybe for like Raul Jimenez. I like Kulusevski. Spurs fixtures. Spurs fixtures from 22 are actually alright. So you could probably hang on to Kulusevski for the next few weeks. Clivert maybe move to a Rodgers. I think you can roll transfers really. It'd be Strand Larson that I'd look to move to maybe Raul Jimenez, and then after that I'd try and roll your transfers through to 29. You don't have a free hit, so you've got to manage the 29 blank and the 34 blank, which is going to be tough. So I'd try and roll your transfers as much as you can over the next few game weeks going up to 29. So in that blank you can get 11 players playing, or as close to 11 as possible. You might not be able to do 11 in 29 and 34, but just have a think of what you'd like to move. But I think try and roll. FPL expert 186486. Where he's on Strand Larson to Raul. Wow, see, I'm qualified to give advice, man. 62 in the world's making the same decisions as me. Nah, nice one, man. That's awesome. Keep up the good work. Subscribe to the channel as well, bro. I'd love to have 62 in the world. I could do a team review with you one week and get you on live streaming. Sorry, FPL expert, FPL advisory. It's not. The game's updating. It's not gonna let me pull you guys up. I think the reason I could do Paris is because he's part of my league. But yeah, join on Saturday. I'll do an early live stream. So yeah, I'll chuck you guys up and we can talk through like transfer plans for your teams and stuff. Or if you can, yeah, I think join us Saturday. So Saturday live stream is probably the easiest. Or just comment on any of my videos in the week. I'll probably put up some shorts because I don't know if I've got too much time. I'll fly to Melbourne tomorrow, Thursday. So yeah, I probably won't have time for too many long form videos. Maybe I'll have time for one. But yeah, appreciate you guys obviously on the stream. Thanks for joining in. Awesome Paris on 62 in the world. hit me up on socials, because I actually like, it would be good if I could do like a team reveal for you for 62 in the world. Where am I from? From Sydney. That's what I'm saying, it's 5:20 in the morning here. Everyone's giving me crap about sleep, don't do the stream and watch the Premier League. But I don't know, man, like I was trying to, like, obviously I'm trying to build the subscriber base here. So streaming for me is important to try and like interact with you guys, help out people with like benching stuff and stuff. Oh, Nepal, bro, even more cool. I love having the diversity as well on the stream. We got some people from all over now. Nepal, we got Africa, we've got Asia, got Australia, New Zealand, obviously got the UK. You know what, man, there's probably no point sleeping. Maybe I'll just stay up for the Prem. I'll sleep for an hour, watch the games. Anyway, guys, I think I'll as much as I've enjoyed this, and like if this was like any other time, I would just keep the stream going, keep chatting to you guys, but I'm actually dying. I'm actually dying. I've been streaming now for 3 hours, 3 hours 18, and I've slept for about an hour. It's 5 AM. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Hope you all have a great game week. Hope Mbumo scores a hat-trick. Hope Salah outscores Palmer. And if none of that happens, I'll see you all for Saturday, where you can give me some abuse. Don't give credit to me for my position, it's all about Salah. Yeah, Viva Mo, Viva Mo. This has been your English Aussie. Thank you very much, guys. Good luck this game week, and I'll catch up with all of you guys soon. Have a great week. Subscribe and like the channel to keep up to date with my videos coming up. Appreciate you all. Catch you later.